So, this one is Animorphs number 13, The Change. I'm pretty tired, so excuse me if I seem odd. It's okay, Kirby. It's okay. You're fine. Anyway, this one's a Tobias book, if I recall, so it should be interesting. I think he gets more books later on, but for now, I think this is legitimately like the second or third one he's had. But anyway, let's get right into it. Chapter 1. My name is Tobias. The Animorphs can't tell you much about themselves, but I can. Cause see, I don't have an address. I can't be found. I live in an area forest by a meadow. That's my territory. My territory includes the meadow, which is maybe 100 yards across in one direction, half that in the other. It includes the trees around the meadow and the woods heading north for about 100 yards. Of course, it's also a territory of other animals. Owls, jays, foxes, raccoons, or down to ants and spiders. But no red-tailed hawks, except me. My name is Tobias and I am human. Partly. Most of my mind is human, or at least I think it is. I mean, I remember human things. I can read and use language. Most of my close friends are human. Most of them. I was born a human in a human body with arms and legs and hair and a mouth, but now I have wings and talons and feathers. Instead of a mouth, I have a hooked beak. I can make sounds with the beak, but nothing that sounds human. To speak with regular humans, I have to use thought speak. But there are no people right then in the early morning, so I wait patiently in the branch of a dying elm. I kept my eyes focused sharply on a meadow. I knew the pathways and homes of the mice and rats and rabbits who lived there. I knew what it meant when the tall grass twitched just the smallest bit. With my hawk eyes, I could see what no human could hope to see. I could see the individual stalks of grass barely trembles a mouse brush between them. And with my hawk ears, I heard the faint sound of mouse teeth chewing on a seed. There was 70 or 80 feet away, an easy target. Opened my wings slowly, not wanting to make a noise. I released a grip of my talons on a branch and fell forward. My wings caught the cushion of air and I swooped almost silent to my prey. The grass twitched and through the grass saw a flash of brown. The mouse was running, but too slowly. I raised my talons forward, I swung my wings forward to cancel my speed, dropping one wing to turn, fell to the last foot like a rock. It was all over pretty quickly. By the time I dragged the mouse away to safer spots, I stumbled on a faded magazine someone had thrown away. The wind ripped the pages by one by a time. Advertisements, graphs, pictures of president of some foreign leader. Then one page stayed open. A photograph of a classroom, kids my age. Some of the kids are goofing off the back of class, some were bored, others looked more or less interested. 3 are practically leaving their seats, waving their hands to the teacher, all frozen in a photograph. A classroom like any other classroom, like all the ones I used to attend. I wouldn't want the kids paying attention, but too shy to volunteer. I was never very bold or aggressive. I was a bully magnet, to tell you the truth. Maybe I should have changed to different music. Anyway. The kid most likely get pounded. The kid from home so screwed up I ended up being shoved back and forth between aunts and uncles who didn't even remember my name half the time. But that wasn't me anymore. Chapter 2. This is my life now, I accept it. There's some very nice things about being a bird. Some very nice things. Well-fed and full of energy, I flapped across the meadow, getting altitude the hard way with sheer muscle power. I slid across the trees and fought my way higher still, out beyond my own territory, higher and higher, and I felt the air billowing up beneath me, a beautiful thermal. A pillow of warm air rose up on the ground as heated by the sun. I stood in that warm air and looked at me like an elevator. I turned and turned that warm current, twisting higher and higher, so nothing but a speck in to tiny humans on the ground. Up and up till the only sound was the wind ruffling across my feathers. I caught a glimpse back down behind me, a glimpse of a strange creature like a blue deer at first. He saw a head with extra stalk eyes mounted on top, and a slashing scorpion tail. Axilmi Iskroth Ishtil, the only andite left on Earth, my friend, or as much as one you can be when one of you's a bird and the other's an alien. I wonder how high up he is if you can barely see him from up there. And yet he can still talk to him. Axeman, I called down. He kept running. That's how he eats. He runs across grass and leaves and crushed vegetation. Tobias out hunting. Nope, I had breakfast. I'll see you later. I flapped and glided in swordtails over houses. There were little squares of gray and orange and brown roofs. Tiny swimming pools glittered in unnatural blue. I saw trim green lawns and parked rectangles of cars on roads that dyed white lines down the middle. I flew on across the homes, across the roads, to the school. Maybe it's because of the picture in the magazine. Maybe that's why I wanted to go here. It was late morning now. The light was sharp and clean. I could see through the windows of the classrooms. There was Jake, an official leader of Animorphs, looking like a normal guy. He was lounging, feet stuck out in the front. He was sleepy, trying to keep his eyes open. Mourning a person alive, juggled the future human race in his hands. Weird to think about that, huh? That some big sleepy kid in sneakers and a jacket is the leader of the only resistance to the Yeerk invasion. I watched and he nodded twice till he slumped. The girl sitting behind him leaned forward and gave him a gentle poke. That was Cassie, another member of her group. She'd never been an animal she didn't like, and she was never a fashion she cared about. She was small, compact but strong looking, not like muscular, more like she has parts something bigger than herself, like some extension of the earth. That's how I see her anyway, like some gentle gentle soldier in the service of nature itself. Corny, isn't it? Sorry, but I have a lot of time thinking, so I guess gets me too serious sometimes. I swept by high above and turned a corner, and our classroom spied Marco, talking, but this wasn't a surprise. The class started to laugh, the teacher laughed and looked exasperated like she didn't want to. Also not a surprise, that's Marco, the boy lesbian center of attention. It took a while for I spotted the last human member of the Animorphs. She wasn't in her usual classroom. In fact, when I first spotted her, we were walking down the hall. Then she stepped outside, on an empty quad that separated the main building from the gym and the temporary buildings. She sat out in sunlight and her blonde hair came out of a flame of pure gold. Rachel. Have you ever known a person who's seen to walk through life with their own personal spotlight on them? That's Rachel. Hi, I said. What are you doing? Skipping school? She couldn't answer. You can only talk speak when you're a morph or you happen to be an andalite, but she can hear just fine. She stopped walking and shielded her eyes with her hands scanning the sky for me, then gave the smallest wave just a twinkling of 2 fingers. She jerked her head to her gym. That's where she's going. She opened her binder and revealed a piece of yellow note paper clipped inside. Delivering a note. But she'd forgotten I see things a human can never see, because beneath the note was a fancy-looking sheet of stationery. A letter addressed to Rachel said, "Congratulations, you've been named a Packard Foundation Outstanding Student." I was about to have my own congratulations and notice the date. There was to be an awards ceremony Monday. This was Friday. The kind of thing Rachel would invite everyone to. Except me. I can't go to things like awards ceremonies. Rachel hadn't even told me, and I knew why. Hey, I have something to show you after school, I said, trying to sound perky. My Yerk Pool mapping project's paying off. Wanna go fly after last period? I saw her smile and nod again, just a slight movement no one would notice. Cool. I saw her away as she walked to the gym. There are definitely some nice things being a hawk, and flying with Rachel's probably the best, but it would have been nice to see her get that award, too. Sometimes I asked myself if I'd do it all over again, if I could never become Tobias the Hawk and only be Tobias the Boy, would I actually go through with it? I didn't think about that often, though. Maybe I didn't want to find out the answer. Chapter 3. I spent the day drifting along in the breeze and checking everything I'd learned for the last couple of weeks. We knew the Yerk Pool's a jank underground complex underneath the school. We knew it extended at least as far as the mall, but we never figured out where all the entrances and exits were. That's what I've been doing, following people we knew were controllers, watching them come and go. From them I learned the extent of the Yerk Pool. Maybe I should back up and explain. You're probably living some nice normal life. You go to school, hang out with friends, have dinner with your family, and watch TV. Normal. I love how he has to actually back up and explain the whole conspiracy going on and everything, because the others start off explaining that because, yeah, it's weird, but to Tobias, this has basically been his whole life for probably months now. It doesn't even seem weird to him anymore. It's like, he doesn't need to explain it because he feels like it should already be known. But then he realizes, wait a minute, you're probably a normal person. Let me explain what's going on. Anyway. What if I told you maybe your teachers aren't really your teachers anymore? Maybe your friends aren't your friends at all. Maybe your parents are actually something totally different. Well, you'd think I was nuts. And I understand. You wouldn't believe how often I had these dreams that maybe none of this is real. That there is no Yerk invasion. The Yerk slugs are inside the heads of so many people that maybe I have my own hands and toes. It all started when Jake, Cassie, Marco, and Rachel and I took a different way home from the mall. In a dark, eerie, abandoned construction site, we saw a spaceship land, and we met this strange, part deer, part scorpion, humanoid creature called an Andalite. His name was Elfangor. Months later, we found out he was Axe's big brother. He told us about the Yerks, the race of parasitic slugs, the Yerks who, like some awful galactic disease, are spreading secretly from planet to planet. They steal bodies, they make our creatures to controllers, slaves. The entire Heartbitcher race has become enslaved, as well as the gross taxons they went along voluntarily. They got the Geds and other races too, and now it's our turn. They're here. They're among us, inside the people you least suspect. Cops, teachers, friends, parents, reporters, pastors and priests, your own brothers and sisters. The Allied Prince Elfangor warned us and gave us the weapon, the power to morph, to become any animal we could touch and acquire. There's one big drawback though. You can't stay in a morph more than 2 hours. I doubt you stay in a morph forever. And that's what happened to me. The Yerks also have a weakness. Every 3 days they return to the Yerk Pool. They drain out of the heads their host bodies and swim in a sludgy liquid of the pool, sucking out Cadrona rays they must have for nutrition. We've been to the Yerk Pool. It's not a place you want to see. Trust me, the screams you heard there will be me forever. The Yerk Pool is where I lost my humanity, where I passed that fateful 2-hour limit. Someday, somehow I'll destroy that place, but first we have to understand it better. So that's what I was doing. That's most of my days trying to discover a possible way in and out. I was in the air over the mall just about 2:30 in the afternoon when I spotted a big bald eagle floating, serene and powerful on the thermals. The round body stood against the clouds with the white head seemed almost invisible. An odd place for a body, usually like the shore. I find it hard to change direction and gain speed. I knew this, Eagle. Is that you, Rachel? Sure, who else would it be? Is this great flying weather or what? It's perfect. Go for a little cruise? Of course, what's up? Well, you and yours about saving the world, I've been busy too. I shot by just beneath her wings and shot past her and turned and moved in front of her. It's kind of showing off. I'm more agile than the bald eagle is, so a baldy's a bit bigger than I am. Kind of like comparing a turkey to a chicken. Rachel made a sighing sound in my head. Tobias, just because you can't come along every mission doesn't mean you need to do extra work. Yeah, well, whatever. The point's been watching controllers in the air. I started with Chapman, his wife, and reporter policewoman we knew about. And Tom, of course. Chapman's our assistant principal, a very big deal controller. Tom's Jake's brother. He's one too. I followed them, watched them, and now I've found 4 separate ways in the pool, besides the one we know that goes through the mall. Cool, when we know the interest is to figure out who the more controllers are. She's not impressed, you know, all I done was fly around and keep my eyes open. I have a lot of free time, I said. I know I shouldn't say what I was about to say next, but I was out there before I could tell myself. So, congratulations, huh? Packard Foundation Outstanding Students. She stopped for a few seconds. Did someone tell you? No, of course not. I saw the letter in my notebooks. Just call me old Hawkeye, I said lightly. Tobias, you know how much I wish you'd come. I mean, Cassie will be there and she's great, but you know, Mark will be there making snide remarks and Jake will be trying not to laugh. It's no big deal. The only thing is, don't hide stuff because you think it'll hurt my feelings, okay? I can't handle you feeling sorry for me. I don't feel sorry for you. Good, because, you know, how you think of me is kind of important. I winced. I sounded way too sincere. I mean, what was I thinking? Rachel's a human. A real human. I'm a hawk. You think Romeo and Juliet are doomed just from being from families that didn't like each other? You can't get more doomed than caring for someone who isn't even the same species anymore. Well, anyway, congratulations, said breezily as I could. Now follow me, I'll give you a little tour of the Yerk Pool entrances. On a day like this, I'd follow you anywhere, Rachel said. Chapter 4. We're not going far, just to the car wash. Do you use in the car wash? No way, Rachel laughed. You have to admit they're pretty ingenious. We flew, not side by side because they would look suspicious. Hawks and Eagles don't exactly fly in formation. We got 100 yards apart with our incredible vision and thought we may as well have been next to each other. We rose higher and higher in the thermals, then thermal hopped. That's where you rise to the top of one pillar of warning air and glide to the next. Then you rise again and drop to the next. It's an easy kind of flying. You don't get where you're going very fast. You don't get tired out either. That's actually very easy for me to visualize, as I remember a lot of video games have you like gliding from one pillar of air just pushing you around to another one. Anyway, you know, platforming stuff. It's awfully nice flying just under the bellies of clouds with Rachel. I may have lost a human body, but I gained wings and flying is... Well, I'm sure you've daydreamed about it. I know I used to. I sit in class, gazing out in the sky, lying back in the grass, look up and wonder what it's like to have wings, be able to fly up and up away from stupid little problems of life. Flying is as wonderful as you'd think, but it has problems too like anything else, but man, on a warm day with mountains of fluffy white clouds showing the way of thermal updrafts is just wonderful. Where are we going? We're not heading to the car wash, Rachel pointed out. I snapped alert, looked down at the ground, spotted familiar road grids and buildings I knew so well from this angle. We were in the area bordering the forest, over on Cassie's farm. What am I doing here, I asked. I must have spaced. I'm sorry. This way. I created a hard left turn, beat my wings against the speed. Rachel had to deal with a 2-hour limit. We wasted a lot of that time. I couldn't believe I spaced out so badly. We flipped hard for a bit. Tobias? Am I crazy? Are we back where we were? I looked down at the ground. She was right. We're back in the same area. I felt a cold chill. No way, I whispered. Are you lost? Of course not, I said. I don't get lost. We're just flying south of east. I know where we are, but it's not where I was heading. Is something going on down on here, Rachel asked? That makes no sense. I was heading for... And that's when I saw it happen. We were gliding on the edge of the forest, farmland on one side, all green and perfectly squared. Then a band of scruffy brush and fall down wire fence and the trees, elms, oaks, and pines. The trees stand in a long sweep right from the farm up to the far distant mountains. My hawk vision could see snow in the far off peaks. But that's not what I was noticing right then. I was noticing was a single huge oak tree was sliding to one side. Just sliding. Like it had no roots like on a skateboard, a huge oak tree just slid over. And beneath that oak there appeared to be a hole in the ground. What is that? Rachel demanded. You got me, I asked. The whole tree's just moving, and the hole isn't natural, it's too round, it's man-made. Or not man-made, Rachel said darkly. Something's down there, see it's not moving, it's coming up out of the ground. I see it, what is it, can you see? I had a better angle than Rachel, I could see it was coming up from the ground. I saw a snake-like head with a huge forward-up horns. I saw powerful shoulders and arms that had been armed with blades at the elbows and wrists. I saw a big Tyrannosaurus feet and shark spiked tail and blades on the knees. I saw 7 feet of razor-bladed death. Hark Bajir, I said. Chapter 5. Hark Bajir, Rachel snarled. A year ago that name would have meant nothing to me, it would have just been a nonsense. But now I knew them. Dandelion gave us our powers, told us they were once a decent, peaceful species, but they've been enslaved by the Yerks. They're all controllers now. The entire species carried Yerk slugs in their heads. And with Yerks controlling their action, the Harbinger are walking killing machines. Amazingly fast, incredibly strong, armored, bladed, almost fearless. They're the shock troops of the Yerk Empire. They came close to killing Rachel several times and almost felt their blades at least once. "What's it doing coming out in broad daylight?" Rachel asked. I looked closely. It was climbing some kind of ladder. Rachel's service had blinked its reptile eyes at the light. It climbed out and stood like some vision of a demon. Then there was a second one coming up. There were two of them. Yeah, and you know what? I think they look scared. And just then, scream. The alarm was deafened by Hawk hearing. The sound screamed up from a hole in the ground. Two Arbiter jerked, surprise and fear. One grabbed the air and held it close for a second. Instant they were off and running. Running as if their lives depended on it. And let me tell you something, they can move when they want. Those big long legs take big long steps. They plowed into bush, slashing wildly with their arms, slicing for bushes and thorns and small trees like a harvester going for a wheat field. "How are you doing in morph time?" asked Rachel. "I still have an hour at least." "So we followed him?" "Oh yeah." "We flapped to gain some altitude, we lost and prepared to follow the Harbinger. Not much of a challenge really, they're chopping down a path straight for the woods that a blind man could follow." "They're not exactly doing that stealth thing, are they?" Rachel commented, and that's when things broke loose. Up on the hole, the humans poured out, armed ones, men and women dressed in an array of normal-looking human clothing. Controllers, of course, not that you could tell by looking, but I knew that now the hole led down to the Yerk pool, and there's no doubt in my mind these humans are human controllers, slaves to Yerks in their head. They carried human weapons, rifles, handguns, shotguns. They were going after our two Harbinger, but they were being careful staying only human controllers. They wouldn't risk more Harbinger being seen. 30 human controllers coming out of the hole. "They'll never catch them," Rachel said. "I know. What's going on here? The Harbinger trying to escape somehow?" Up from the hole, machines began to appear. They seemed to levitate. I almost laughed when I saw them. Dirt bikes? So you're some motorcycles? It seemed bizarre and funny. They had faster than light spacecraft, and they were using dirt bikes. "Uh-oh," Rachel said. "The Harbinger are fast, but they aren't that fast." Vroom. Human controllers are firing up the motorcycles. They hear the splittering roar of the engines. All in all, 15 Yamahas and Kawasaki's came for that hole. The motorcycles took off. Some just one rider. Others had two, one to steer and one to shoot. The Harbinger had a lead of a few hundred yards. They never outrun this small army. As they watched from the safety of the air, the motorcycles rolled off to the woods in the pursuit. They turned out deep dirt and leaves and shouted to quiet. And they gained quickly. Rifles barked and motorcycles roared. Harbinger rammed the bikes, leaped and twisted and snaked toward them. Rifles, automatic weapons, and shotguns all ripped apart the tree trunks. Human controllers are firing wildly, fired anything and moved. From the ground they couldn't see them yet, but they see flashes and they kept on shooting. "This'll all be over in about 10 seconds, Rachel said. "What are we gonna do?" "You want to help Harbinger?" I said incredulously. "You're just saying the enemy of my enemy is my friend. The Yerks want those two dead. That's good enough for me." "Me too. We have to use thought speak, talk directly to them." "Let's do it," Rachel said. I was smiled by the mouth. Rachel's so brave and she's just sort of being reckless. I like that about her. "Hey, Harbinger down there." I saw him stagger. I was shocked and amazed to hear him thought speak like that was their problem. "You're about 10 seconds away from being dead. Listen to me and you might get out of this alive." Chapter 6. First of all, stop tearing up the foliage of genius. They're following the trail you make. And second of all, jump left. Now! Jump! They leaped to the left. Just a pair of motorcycles roared past, missing by a few feet. Boom! One of the controllers cut loose of both barrels of a shotgun. I saw pellets of tear a tree trunk into wet sawdust. "Okay, keep going that direction." Thought speak is a bit like email. You can address everyone, you can address a certain person. It sounds complicated, you get used to it. "Do you have a plan?" Rachel asked me. I hadn't really thought that far ahead, I admitted. "So you know a safe place for them to hide?" I searched for memory. I had to think like a human, not a bird. The Harbinger couldn't hide in trees. "Yeah, there's a cave I know about. We can keep them alive till then, at least." Harbinger were running flat out, but now saw a pair of big, long 4x4 pickup trucks coming from the other direction. They were racing along a dirt road, coming out to cut them off. The others were pulling out all stops. "This is like a really bad chess game. There are players all the pieces," I muttered. "You know these woods, Tobias. That's our edge." "Yeah, I hope." I turned my head left and right. Yeah, I did know the woods. I knew where we were. I knew every tree and every ravine and every stream. "Okay, cut to your right now. There's a ditch. There are a couple of controllers in your way. So you need to get past the big rock pile. Keep going on your left." They hesitated, missed a couple steps, and looked around in confusion. "Did you hear me?" "They heard you," Rachel said. "I think the instructions are too complicated for them." "Oh, great." "Okay, in that case, let's play follow the leader." I took a deep breath and glanced around to make sure I knew exactly where I was, and I split a little air from my wings, tried to keep all the speed I could, and dropped down from the trees. "Okay, time to play follow the big birdie." I assumed just over their heads. "Yeah, me, the big brown bird with a pre-red tail. Follow me and stay close." "Tobias, Richard, you have one of the trucks moving ahead of you." I zoomed in, the twin monsters came racing after me. Have you ever flown at full speed right for a densely packed forest? Probably not. So let me tell you, it's exciting, like a video game set in the highest speed where one wrong move means you're a bundle of crushed bird bones and feathers. "Stay with me, boys, they're gonna haul butt," I said. I shot between two trees so close there I felt my wingtips brush rough bark. I craned to right so sudden and sharp almost splatter against an oak, and then I flapped hard against speed between the two, for two not very bright Harbinger ran over me. High overhead, Rachel called down on updates. 3 wrecks on your left converging. That truck is right behind you. Spot Harbinger. Look out, there's a guy with a gun. Boom. Shotgun pellets ripped the air around me and stripped the leaves from a branch. My flying muscles are aching when I was too high on sheer adrenaline to care. This is insane. I was walking through the woods, barely missing tree trunks, just skimming over saplings, looking for territories belonging to other birds that would kill me if I'd slow down. I was so rapid into a daily Harbinger, the dogs chased me through the woods, and I'll say this for Harbinger, they might be great at following instructions, but they knew how to stay on target. Zoom for the trees. Zoom, barely rising fast to clear a rocky outcropping. Zoom left, right, straight up at every muscle streaming. I screamed in a combination of fear and total powered up red-tailed excitement. Man, I was doing some serious flying, but I was not getting close to my goal, and I was not losing the fun of pursuing dirt bikes and 4x4s. Tobias, oh man, there's a helicopter coming from the south, maybe 2 minutes away. We're dead meat if the chopper gets here before we lose them on the ground. There's a stream. Think they can swim? They look like they do. Harbinger, can you swim? If you can't swim, I'll slicing out the next sapling you come to. Slash. Alright then, stay with me. Chapter 7. I hung a brutally hard right and skirted my belly across a branch doing so, fought my way for the grasping twigs and leaves and motored on. Thank goodness I had a good breakfast, I muttered. Tobias, you can't go that way, the trucks cut you off, they have guys in the back with shotguns. No choice, in 2 minutes I'm gonna collapse, and right but then the helicopter will get here. Okay, then you get rid of the guys with guns. She said, kind of like flying against a guy with a shotgun was no big deal. Rachel, I mentioned that you're really cool, I said. Then Harbinger said, just keep running the same direction, don't stop. I peeled away, following my way up and up across treetops. There was Rachel gliding majestically on her huge eagle wings. I need altitude so I could turn into speed. I head for the gaps in the tree cover, see 2 pickup trucks. They're still bouncing along, kicking up dust they heard to cut off the Harbinger. And the back of the truck was made a shotgun. They were holding on for dear life, so at least we had a chance of not getting killed. You take the one to the left. Ready? I asked Rachel. Let's do it. We even near some of the trucks. I prepare a cruise missile. We target a spot where the trucks would be in 5 seconds. 4, 3. I clearly see my guy, middle-aged human. Look like a guy you see working at a hardware store or something, but he wasn't really human. The Yerk in his head was aiming the gun. 2 seconds, he saw me, frowned, and he realized... 1 second. The shotgun came up, the twin barrels looked huge. I worked my talons forward. Boom! The shot passed millimeters over my head. I actually felt the wind. And I struck. He felt the back of the truck clutching his face and howling. A split second later, Rachel hit her target too. At the same time, 2 Harbinger came barreling out of the woods right for 2 racing trucks. One jumped, he sailed over the truck and laid hard on the far side. The second was a little too slow, and the truck slammed into them. And the Harbinger went flying and sprawled into a bush-covered ditch. Boom! Rachel's guy was firing blindly. Her Harbinger was up, but he wasn't running. I was close to hear him bellow in a voice full of despair. Kalashi! Kalashi! Move, you idiot! I screamed at Harbinger. 2 trucks were breaking a crowd of dust and dirt, fishtailing wildly as a narrow dirt road. They were piling out of cabs armed to the teeth. From the edge of the woods just on the road, 3 dirt bikes roared into sight. The Harbinger froze. He looked at me as I shot past, and he said, "No, my Kalashi! My wife!" "Wife?" I said. "Wife, Rachel?" Like, that must have been the last I expected to hear Harbinger say. "You'll be dead in 2 seconds," snapped as I recovered from shock. Run! Run, you're no good to anyone. He ran. I got him to the stream and lay half concealed behind a stand of trees. He hit the water with a surprisingly little splash and disappeared beneath the surface. He said wife, right? Asked Rachel. Wife, she agreed. Chapter 8. Wife? Excuse me, said wife, Marcus said incredulously. You know such a thing as female Harbinger? I guess so, I said. We didn't have time to ask. It's late afternoon, we're all in Cassie's barn. Ashes and the rafters of the barn, looking down at the rest of the group. Jake, Cassie, Marco, Axe, and Rachel are back in human form again. Axe is in his own natural body. It was a danger to come here because they would never allow anyone to see him. I mean, one look at him with the 2 movable stalk eyes on top of his head and a deadly scorpion tail and centaur body, you knew he wasn't exactly a local. But it was worth the risk saying over Harbinger and any of us did. Besides, I was providing security. When I placed the rafter to see for the hayloft to Cassie's house. Since I had excellent hearing as well as sight, I know if anyone was approaching the barn. The barn is actually a wildlife rehabilitation clinic. It's full of every kind of local animal. The wire cages are piled higher on the barn. Cassie's parents are veterinarians. Her mom works at Gardens, a big amusement park and zoo complex. Her father runs a clinic with a lot of help from Cassie. They take in injured and wild animals, and right now, beneath the cage is a sampling of wild animals that live in the area. Possums, voles, rats, rabbits, skunks, foxes, raccoons, squirrels, and so on. Many of them would make a nice snack for me. Cassie and I have an agreement. I only your patience. Additional land animals are bats and birds. Cassie actually rushes pigeons and crows, even jays. I have nothing against pigeons, but not like crows and ravens and jays. Thank you for that, Sensei. They're like the gangsters of the bird world, plus they're smart. They can work together and make peaceful raptors like me. Sometimes a bunch of them actually try and steal a kill from me, and believe you get a 6 or 8 big fat jays or crows telling you once can be very annoying. But, that's another story. How exactly tell a man Harbinger from a woman Harbinger, Marco asked. Do the women put on makeup on their wrist blades so you have nail polish with big nasty toes? Rachel will rise. We had a chance to get into it, right? We barely got one of them into the cave. I mean, do female Harbinger cry at chick movies? Marco went on, talking mostly himself. Do they get all goo-goo when they see a baby? What about the female? Jake asked Rachel and me. Rachel shrugged and looked away. We don't know. We saw her get knocked in a ditch and that was it. This whole thing stinks. It's a trap. A setup, Marco said. I think the real question is if you and Harbinger get all weird around bugs and snakes. I don't think so. About the trap, I mean. Weird around bugs and snakes, Cassie asked. Is that how girls are, Marco? Well, that's your lower drawer beneath the row. A low drawer beneath the bottom of her cage. A second layer of snake was lightly tossed to the air in Marco's direction. Ah! Ah! Get off me! Cassie retrieved a harmless garden snake and put it back in the drawer. Everyone laughed. Except Axe, who doesn't always get human humor. Even Marco laughed. Okay, that's not fair. Funny, yes. Fair, no. Can we please act more mature here? Sure, Marco, Rachel said. Why don't you leave and we'll automatically be a more mature group? Could we stick to business, Jake asked, but he was smiling from the snake thing, so no one took him too seriously. Why would a Yerk, even a Yerk inside Harbinger, want to run away, Marco said. Sooner or later, I have to go back to the Yerk pool. It doesn't make sense. Rachel sighed. How dumb are you? Don't you get it? They aren't controllers. There's no Yerk. Somehow these two are free. Cassie looked thoughtful. Isn't it kind of coincidence you happen to be in the area Harbinger was escaping? Yeah, definitely. Especially since I wasn't heading there. I was actually trying to go somewhere else. I saw two stock eyes and head, so you have to focus me on new interests. This may I have to say on Jake. Cassie gave me a tilted head, puzzled look. You mean... But Rachel interrupted. Look, we have to decide what we're going to do. We got this Harbinger male in the cave. The Earth's be looking for him. I tell you, he's not exactly Stephen Hawking. Who, Cassie asked? He's a human physicist, Axe responded. I've read some of his writings. He's very brilliant, but also very wrong on several things. For instance, when he refers to the structure of atoms, and Jake threw up his hands in aspiration. Is there any chance we would stick to business? I remember when Jake used to be fun, Marcus said a loud whisper. Now he's such a grown-up. That was never fun, Jake said with a tolerant smile. No, you were never smart, but you were always fun, Marco teased. The question is, what do we do, Rachel said. He's staying out there in a cave in the woods moaning by his Kalashi. What do we do with him? He looked acts like he'd have an answer. I've never known of a free Harbinger. They've been slave of Yerks for a long time. But it's possible. Maybe somehow his Harbinger is Yerk is in the Yerk pool, the Harbinger managed to escape. It's possible his wife as well, in which case the only free Harbinger in the entire galaxy. The only two members there, free members of the entire species. Imagine, Cassie whispered, being the only two free humans in the whole world. Somehow no one felt like messing around anymore, even Marco looked thoughtful. If the Yerks want humans to be noted in Harbinger, absolute slaves of the Yerk Empire. So what do we do with the only free Harbinger in the galaxy? What does the Harbinger want to do? Axe asked me and Rachel. We stared blankly at each other. You know, I admit we never asked. Then I guess that's step one. We find out what the Harbinger wants. Everyone agreed. But then I saw Cassie look trouble. On her breath she murmured, then let's find out why I should buy somewhere I didn't mean to be. I didn't think anyone's heard her, but I did. Why had I been there? That is a good question. Alright. Chapter 9. It took a while to figure out how we're going to deal with the Harbinger, but in the end I decided to go ahead with Axe. The others and Morph and stay close enough to hear what's happening. The problem was we were afraid to be honest with Harbinger. It'd all be some kind of trap still. We couldn't let anyone know who we really were, or what we were. See, the Yerks know there's someone out there missing with them. They know they're being attacked by someone using animal morphs. Since only Andalites have the power to morph, they assume we must be Andalites. They figure a group of Andalite gorillas. We want them to keep thinking that. We sure don't want them to realize Animorphs are a bunch of mostly human kids. If they ever found out where Jake and Cassie and Rachel and Marco live, well, that'd be it. The cave where Rachel and I lived at Harbinger is small for a creature his size, hidden by brush and fallen branches, about 20 feet, but only about 5 feet tall. And remember, they're 7s, so... They do have those snaky necks so they can bend down, but still. I landed with a fallen branch outside the cave entrance, waited till everyone was in position, and I said, hey, in there, Harbinger, it's me, the talking bird. I'm coming in, with a friend. It's hard for a bird to push through bushes and thorns, so I stepped forward, almost dancing his 4 hooves. He pushed the tangle aside with his weak arms. He stuck his head inside a dark cave. The reaction was immediate. Hurthen! Andalite! A blade arm slashed, missing his head by inches. Axe jerked back and cocked his tail. No, I yelled. Listen there, you weed whacker-ling jerk. Calm down, and Axe, take it easy. The blade arm went true, and Axe relaxed his tail. I took a few seconds to slow my heart down. When the bird started, I want to fly. Natural instinct. I had to fight the control and stay put. What's going on, Cassie asked. I looked up in the sky. Rachel and Cassie are up there in bird morph. Rachel was his bald eagle self, and Cassie is an owl. The sun was just setting. When darkness fell, an owl would be a lot more useful. The two of them were flying cover, make sure we weren't disturbed. Nothing much, you're just saying hello. By the way, is everything clear up there, Cassie? Rachel? Everything's clear, Rachel called down. I took a couple of deep breaths to try to save my nerves. Neither Axe nor I want to go in that cave anymore. You just can't be careless when you're dealing with Harbinger. One fast move, they could leave you wondering why your head's rolling across the grass. Harbinger, come on out, I said firmly. Slowly the big creature crawled out and looked to the right, blinking in the dim evening light. Not Harbinger, he said. Jerahami. My name, Jerahami. He's kidding, right? Jake said, shaking my head. His name is Jeremy? Huh, that is pretty close, actually. I glanced up to see a big, round, white and orange face. A face with deep, intelligent eyes and yellowish teeth about 4 inches long. It was Jake and his tiger morph. He's above the cave-in opening with an outcropping rocket the Harbinger made a false move. Jake could be over him. You better talk to our friend boy Jirahami here, said Axe. I figured Axe knew about talking to our aliens and me. Axe held his hands up in a gesture of peace. He lowered his tail still further, because he didn't really want to do that. The air between them seemed to crackle with tension. My name is Axilmi, he said. You are Herthan, Andalite. Yes. You kill me? No, I won't kill you. Herthan kill Harbinger. The Harbinger named Jirahami said. Harbinger kill Herthan. Yes, you're going really well, Margaret said dryly, sang new words of that Barney song. I kill you, you kill me, we're an alien family. I saw Marcus settling in behind a stand of trees up to the left, like a very large, very hairy man. A gorilla, actually. We decided to play in muscle just in case. The analyst tried to save the Harbinger from New York, said, saying a little defensive. He stared into Axe's face. You dark cap, you fail. Yes, we failed, but I'm here now, and I don't kill Harbinger unless they're tools of the Yerks. The Harbinger made a sort of forward jerk his head and a raspy little sound to stir. It sounded like a derisive laugh. But who knows? I have no idea what a laugh should sound like, or if they laughed at all. He slapped his chest with his left hand, storming up his halfway airborne forgot a grip. He threw out his arm and said, Jirahami escape Yerks. Jirahami free. Jirahami has his own head. He pressed his hands gently against his snake-like head. How do we know you're free? How do we know you have your own head? Axe asked coldly. He looked puzzled, and then in a complete shock he made a quick move with his arm. As fast as you and I could see, but I saw it. I saw the wrist blade slice right into his own head. He sliced into his own head. No, I yelled in horror. Ah, Jake yelped. There's a gash 6 inches deep in Harbinger's head. He reached over to clawed hands and pulled the gash open. He was pulling his own head open. It's not like it didn't hurt him because I could see the pain in his face. Blood, or something, oozed in shades of deep red and deeper purple green. He held the gash open and we stared, asking me right into the Harbinger's brain. I guess Jake and Marco see pretty clearly too. Ugh, Marco moaned. Can I just say yuck? Jirahami pressed two sides of the gash together, held the cut for a few seconds with amazing speed. The bleeding coagulated. The long scab began to form over the gash, and that's when I started breathing in. I actually stopped. Then I started my heart up. I swear I had stopped too. Did you see a yerk in his head? I asked shakily. No, he was shaking too. No yerk. Did that scare the PFX man? Does that kind of thing not bother you? I am as peeless as you, Tobias, my friend. Okay. Kinda needed the joke director at that moment, jeez. Whew. That wasn't necessary, told Jirahami. His face, as far as he had one, was still scrunched up in pain. He was breathing hard and swaying the same blue-green fluid I'd seen inside his head. Necessary, he groaned for the pain. Jirahami is strong, but Jirahami need help. Help to do what? He stared at Axe and shifted his gaze to me. Flying animals on my Kalashi. Jirahami must find her. Jirahami, he showed with the word. He made a gesture with his hands as if someone were tearing something out of him, but someone were removing his heart. There's no question what it meant. He crossed the divide in their speech and recognized that emotion. You love her. Jirahami loves. Kalashi. Jirahami free. Want free. I swallowed his stock eyes back toward me. I think I believe him. Yeah, me too. Hey, you guys down there? Cassie called down from above. We have company coming. For kids, yeah. What, Chapter 10. What kind of company, Cassie? Or Jake snapped. 15, maybe 20 people are strung out in a line, coming this way. I have equal number coming from the southeast, Rachel said. Oh man, I have Harbinger with them. It's not even dark enough to bring them out in the open. They want our boy here real badly, I said, so big wrestling aliens through the woods are still liable to see. They're converging on you, Cassie reported. A small group of Harbinger coming up too. This isn't good. You guys are practically surrounded. You have maybe 5 missiles all over you. Talk about bad timing. It's getting late, Marco pointed out. It's almost dinner time. My dad would give me a grief if I don't get home in time for dinner. Jake laughed and so did I. Just because I don't worry about being grounded or halfway surrounded by Yerks. We could easily escape and all Morse and small animal bird not be seen. That won't help Jirahami here, Marco said. Distraction, Jake said. We need to draw them away. But the Yerks are looking for Harbinger, Axe pointed out. Will they be foolish enough to follow any of us? We can only hope they will be, Jake said tersely. We can get away, but I don't think we can leave Jirahami behind. But I had a different idea. Unfortunately, it's a very dangerous one. A very dangerous idea, and danger will be all on someone else. Not me. I hesitate. It makes me sick when other people take a risk I can't take. Look, there may be a way. What? They want a Harbinger to chase? We could give him one. More of a Harbinger, Margaret said? Ugh. Jirahami and just any animal, Cassie objected. He's sentient, self-aware. Aximorph me once, Jake pointed out, and Cassie, you morph Rachel. I'm just saying we have to get his permission at least. Whatever you decide, do it quick. I'll do it. I'll morph Harbinger, Rachel said. Suddenly I saw her glide down for a tree on her huge eagle wings. I need to change anyway. It's getting too dark for my eyes. No, I should do it, Axe said quickly. No, Rachel said, choosing her to demorph. I have dibs. Dibs? I spoke first. Axe let it go and focused his main eyes on Harbinger. Yerks are coming. One of my friends wishes to morph you to trick the Yerks. Do you agree? Jirahami hates Yerks, big Harbinger said, like that was all the answer he needed to give. Okay then, turn around, I ordered. Close your eyes and don't look till we tell you. If you open your eyes, this Herthan here, this Analyte will slice and dice you. Got it? Eyes closed. He turned around immediately and laughed at him, feeling so half sick with worry for Rachel. I mean, a 7-foot-tall monster is taking worse than a 20-inch long bird. By sensing you were slightly damaged right then, Rachel was going to morph a Harbinger, and then she was going to draw off the Yerks. She's going to make them chase her. Mistake to think about. This was my idea. My brilliant idea, and she'd take the risk. Rachel began to emerge from her eagle body. She rose swiftly on a pine needle, and rotting leaf forward of the forest, up and up like a weird misshapen nightmare creature made of human flesh and dark brown feathers, bright yellow beak, and lengthening legs. I would have given anything to be able to go in her place, but I can't morph. I'd be safe in the sky or in the trees while she's trying to outrun the enemy. It was a story of my life, lady. My friends were in danger and I stayed safe, all because I couldn't morph. In a minute, Rachel was no longer a bird, but a human girl. A girl even now is always scared, managed to look like a smiling magazine cover girl. You don't have to do this, Rachel, I said. It's Rachel's greatest thrill, Marco said. More Harbinger. Hey, can you finally be someone on the outside where she is on the inside? Shut up, Marco. Rachel gave me a look and said, don't worry, Tobias. She said nothing because she was now fully human. We still didn't want the Harbinger to know we were human. We didn't want to hear a human voice. He stood peacefully as Rachel began to reach out her slender fingers and touch its back. He went slightly limp as he began to acquire and absorb his DNA and make it part of her. Guys, Cassie called out. I'm serious now, the bad guys getting close. I can see them. My hawk hears sounds of heavy creatures stomping and crashing for the woods. Her metallic clank of weapons against belts and the muttered commands between human controllers and Harbinger. Cassie's right, we're down to 2 minutes maximum. Rachel gave a nod and then a cocky wink. She closed her eyes to focus on a new morph, and then she began to change. I wanted to turn away, but somehow I felt like I owed it to her to watch, just because me this is happening. I couldn't tell you how bizarre this scene was. The woods were growing dark, the shadows were deep all around me, my hawk eyes couldn't properly see. Overhead the sky was dark blue streaked with red and orange, but not quite black. True night was still an hour away, but under the shade of the trees it was night already. We stood there in the same nightmare creatures, Harbinger, eyes closed tight, the Andalite, deadly tail twitching nervously prospect of battle, the orange and black tiger climbing out from behind the rocks, moving with like liquid power, a gorilla walking erect using massive fists like extra feet, and me, the bird boy. And in the middle was Rachel, and she was growing taller. Already tall for a girl, but now she's heading towards shock size. Her skin was changing, turning dark, almost green-black. Her feet mutated quickly from dainty human to 3-toed, one-spur-feet Harbinger. Feeling like my own talons except much larger. Her face grew elongated, the jaw budged outward and became smooth as a bullet. Her eyes were narrow, red-tinged slits, and then the blades began to appear. Shoop! Horn blades swivel from her forehead, shoop blades on her wrists and elbows, and shoop blades at her knees. She became a walking razor, 7 feet of muscle, deadly speed. So, Rachel said, this is a Harbinger. Chapter 11. You can open your eyes now, told Shirahami. He did, and he turned to face himself. Rachel's identical copy of Harbinger grown from his own DNA. I didn't know what I expected, what would happen next. Rachel bellowed in a voice that made the leaves quake. He responded with the same bell. Shut up, you guys, Marcus, my family. You're halfway surrounded. Rachel slashed viciously for damage and missed Shirahami by an inch, half an inch. He responded instantly to a forward jab of one of his big feet. If it connected, it would have ripped her stomach open, but the blow missed by a hair. Rachel slashed Shirahami slashed, but all the blows missed. Not by much, but they did. Back off, Jake. Stop it. I was thinking ready to jump. That's all we need. A 3-way fight between 2 Harbinger and a tiger. Jake, I think this is like a ritual. You see this kind of thing all the time in nature. It's a dominance ritual. They stopped slashing. Now they preened, circling each other, searching up on tiptoes to see who was actually taller. Okay, we do not have time for games, Marco said. He was right, I saw the flashlights through the trees. They put their heads forward and touched her sight like horns with surprising gentleness. Rachel, you okay in there? What? She was confused. Morphing into creatures confused. It was sometimes experience to be overwhelming. Instincts of creatures serves to even take over control for a bit. Well, that's what everyone tells me. It's been a while since I morphed. Yeah, 12 books for him. Rachel, we're out of time, Jake said gently. Are you up for this? Yeah, sure. Okay, I got started carried away there for a minute. I'm not getting Jirahami's thoughts and raids, but definitely a big bundle of instincts. Jirahami, back in the cave. Don't come out. Everyone get ready. We want to leave the Yerks away. We're not looking for a fight. Rachel, you hear that about not looking for a fight? Sure. You know she's slashed here, trying out her blades. Whatever. Rachel, you can still back out. I bet you Tomoshi says let's do it. She turned to snake ahead to her marker and grin what I thought was a Harbinger grin. Let's go for it. Ah, man, she cheated. And then the enemy arrived. Suddenly, 4 human controllers armed with guns crashed clumsily into view, and they saw them, and with them were 2 Harbinger. They saw Jake and Rachel and me. They didn't see Marco. He lumbered behind one Harbinger, tapped on his shoulder, and instantly as he turned, he landed a punch with a split telephone pole. He went down hard. Whoa, one of the humans cried. Some of the controllers aren't chasing us, and we were chasing them. I flapped hard and landed on Rachel's forward stuffed horn blade. I grabbed a bone blade of my talons. What are you doing, Rachel asked. Hitching a ride, not gonna be left out. Not this time. Cool, let's go. We took off for the woods, Rachel's Harbinger by an easy looping around as faster than it seemed at first. I was there holding on tight, I was tense and scared and ready for trouble, but at least I was there for a fight, you know? At least holding off somewhere the arrows and ran all the risks. You guys, Cassie got up from above. Stop chasing them, we're setting up a trap. They're leading right between two batches of bad guys. Oops, time to turn around. Yep. You turned and started running in a new direction like some big tank and I was a hood ornament, and then... Ah! She cried, pitched forward, and I pitched forward too. We hit the ground hard and rolled for a juniper bush. Sorry I tripped. You okay, Tobias? Yeah, I think so. I was caught in the branches of the bush. I couldn't fight too hard to get out or I damaged my feathers. Slice. Suddenly the branches are gone. Alright, I like these blades, Rachel said. Excellent. I fluttered my wings, hopped up to get back on her horns, but I overshot my goal because suddenly I was flying for the air. No, wait. Hold on. I was up in the trees. Impossible. How did I get up here? I hadn't even flown. I barely hopped when I was in the sky. What? I did a quick turn around trying to figure out where I was. The sun was setting faster enough light for me to use my full powers of sight. But I wasn't blind. I saw a horned owl floating above a treetop level. Cassie, but she's so far away, maybe a quarter mile. No way, I said in confusion. They heard gunfire, quite close to just beneath me. A human voice said, "Freeze! Freeze up at the next shot for your second heart." There was a small clearing below me. I knew the meadow. It was the territory of a Swanson's hawk. Not as nice as my own meadow, but a nice territory. But I wouldn't look for mice. All 3 humans well-armed surrounded a single harbinger. Rachel? No, she was back where I should be. Was it Jirahami himself? What was going on? Notice one of the human controllers seemed to be sick. He was definitely having a spasm. No, wait, he was morphing. It took me a second to be sure, and I saw the extra stalk eyes appear in a sharp-tipped tail. I knew it was an Andalite. There's only 2 on planet Earth. One is Axe, and the other is not a true Andalite at all. A Yeerk uses an Andalite body. The only Andalite controller in the whole galaxy. The only Yeerk had the power to morph. Our greatest enemy, the leader of the Yeerk invasion of Earth, the murderer of Axisbar Elvengor. Visitor 3. Chapter 12. Andalites don't always look like they're riding a always look like they're borderline between cute and dangerous. If Visitor 3, that line doesn't even exist. Not that he looks any different outside. I mean, he looks like an older Andalite all, but there's some dark evil glow that shines within him. And when you meet him, you have no doubts that he is dangerous. Deadly dangerous. Guys, I called him last week Jake, Rachel, but I was too far away from them. The only body emerged from a human form and morphed. Well, well, Cat Hoppack, Visitor said. That is your name, isn't it? Your original Harbinger name? You ran us a nice chase, but it's time to come home now. Visitor seldom bothered to whisper his thoughts, because I said, "Your powerful never occurs to you to worry someone might overhear." Cat Hoppack he called an Harbinger, so it wasn't Jirahami. This is Kalashi, his wife. They had us surrounded, 2 humans carrying shotguns of Visitor armored all lightning speed of Andalites, not to mention more from all dark corners of the galaxy. There was no way to save her. I had to take him out, and that wasn't going to happen. Andalites, even false ones, are impossible to sneak up on. Those extra stock eyes turned this way and that, always looking in every direction, make it impossible. Unless there's a distraction. I knew the hawk tended to roost in one particular elm tree. The light was too dim to see him. He might even be there, but if he was... I flied hard to get out to. Not too much or wasn't time, just enough. 40 feet, 50 feet, 60 feet, and then I folded and plummeted toward the ground. I screamed with the voice of a red tail. I called again to make sure the hawk would hear me, and down I came, wings back and tail narrowed at maximum speed. I aimed for Visitor 3. If the hawk wasn't home, I was toast. But then there's a rustling sound, and from the corner of my eye I saw wings flapping. The Swanson's hawk was coming out to defend its territory against a pushy red tail. I'd never been so relieved to see another hawk before. That bird is probably one of them, he shouted, pointing at the Swansons. The 2 controllers spun and raised their shotguns, and Visitor 3 blessed his evil heart, turned stock eyes toward what he thought was a threat. I'm a friend at Jirahami, said Harbinger. Get ready. Talons forward, beak thrust out, and a sudden flaring wings adjust angle and strike. My talons raked his exposed stalk eyes from behind. Ah! He bellowed in pain. Now run, I told Harbinger. The shotguns fired, and we are out of there. Out of there. The Harbinger bolted, and I thought my life depended on it. And it did. The Swanson's hawk turned so hard and fast that he'd been hit, but he was hauling his tail feathers out of there too. Andalite filth, I heard Visitor scream in my head, but by the end I was over the trees. Harbinger was running flat out below me. I was just screaming like an idiot from the sheer and insane rush of it all. Well, he's happy. The voice of Red Tail, okay, what they usually use in eagles on screen because eagles sound like derps. That's accurate. If you know what the eagles supposedly sound like on TV, you know what Tobias sounds like there. Just a cool bit of trivia. Chapter 13. Jirahami and Ket Hallpack reunited in the shelter of the cave. We're all exhausted and scared and confused, so we all had that slight lunatic rush comes on cheating death. Marco and Cassie are both framed by being late getting home, and everyone's getting close to the 2-hour limit, but despite that, it was kind of sweet seeing them together. They didn't exactly hug. I guess hugging didn't work out when you have blades everywhere. Ket Hallpack did touch the healing wound Jirahami made his own head. Look, we have to get out of here, Rachel says. She's still in her Harbinger form. I'll be grounded for a weekend when I get home. I have a feeling we're going to be busy this weekend, so I can't get grounded. You're on one ground at Packard Foundation as staying student, would she ask? This kind of bare silence was never a reward. It's not that big a deal, she looked down at the ground. What do we do about these guys, Jake asked. He's still in his tiger morph, with scratches and cuts on his sinuous orange and black fur. I was off her student Ket Hallpack there being a skirmish between the rest of them and some controllers. No one been hurt, but once again I was out of there when the fighting actually started. You guys go at home, I'll keep watch our Harbinger friends here. Instantly, I feel it's not really fair to Tobias because sure he wasn't there when they were battling, but he still saved the other Harbinger and everything from getting captured. That's pretty important, in fact I'd say it's probably more important. Anyway, you can't keep watch all night. Hey, nothing else to do, I can take a perch in a tree by the cave entrance, not a problem. I'll keep watch too, Axe chimed in. Let's go outside and talk about this, Jake said. The Harbinger said, Jira and Cat, you have to stay in this cave till we come get you, tomorrow sometime. What will you do with Cat Hopback and Jirahami? Jira asked. We don't really know yet, he answered honestly. We'll wait here. We, Felnana. We thank you, Cat said. Outside is definitely turning dark now. No stars yet, but it's a matter of minutes. Everyone demorphalized and I kept a nervous watch. Okay, what do we do about this, Jake asked once everyone but me was normal again. I kept pacing stairs by fleeing from branch to branch. I let them walk a little ahead, then fly a few yards ahead, then wait for them to catch up. We have 2 real live aliens, Richard, so we take to the media. How do you know that your conspiracy to see those 2? There is already a real live alien among you, Axe pointed out. Me. But I have learned about human society. Humans invent all sorts of things that are not true. I have seen photographs of aliens in your human newspapers. Do most people believe them? Those aren't real newspapers, Marcus said. No one half the brain believes those tabloids. And how do we know which newspapers, which TV networks are already infiltrated, Cassie said. We can have Hannah Harbinger right back to the Yerks. Well, what are we supposed to do with Romeo and Juliet back there, Marcus said sarcastically? Rent them an apartment, buy them a house, get them jobs? I mean, they're just a little obvious, you know? People are probably gonna notice they start shopping at the mall. We all laughed, but it was a brief one. The truth is we didn't know what to do. Those 2 may be the last 3 Harbinger in all the galaxy, Axe said. The only 2 free Harbinger in existence. Like members of an endangered species, Cass said thoughtfully. The last 2 free Harbinger. Maybe the last hope of their kind. Oh man, Marcus said, don't start with the ecology stuff, okay? They're not a pair of spotted owls or humpback wheels. I must stop here, I said. We're close to the edge of the forest. Everyone's stopping. They're all really anxious to get home to get yelled at by parents. No one left. Well, Cassie said maybe true, Jake pointed out. Those 2 are endangered species. What do you do in endangered species? Cassie shrugged. You find them a safe, protected environment, then you hope they have lots of little Harbinger and somehow the species survives. Hello, this is Earth, Marco said. There's no safe place for an alien like a mixture of a gargoyle and a lawnmower. Yes, there is, I said. Or human heads on anti-Sev eyes all turn to stare at me. Where, Rachel asked. I know a place way up in the mountains. A valley, there's caves and freshwater streams. It's hidden. It was clear in my mind. I could see it perfectly. I saw a beautiful waterfall, tall trees, probably blotted out sky in some areas, a wide meadow filled with wildflowers. So in my mind, I could even imagine a place being home to Harbinger. Maybe we could take them there, she suggested. He shrugged. We don't have a better plan, right? Right now, I need to think about that story I'm going to tell my dad when I get home, Margaret said. Tomorrow we can worry about taking Adam and Eve Harbinger up to the Garden of Eden. Not a bad description, I thought. What little the valley was like. I can see a place clear in my mind as the only place I've been. But there was just one little problem. I'd never been there before. I'd never actually seen it. And I had no idea where the lovely pictures in my mind had actually come from. Yeah, some weird stuff is happening to Tobias here. Chapter 14. I usually spent the night in my favorite nighttime perch, a high branch out of the very middle of an old oak. I like the rough oak bark as easy to hold on to. I can sink my talons deep and drift off asleep. My regular perch is deep in a tree because it keeps me outside of predators. The raccoons and foxes and wolves all work at night. They don't worry me too much. Wolves and foxes don't climb trees too well. I do keep an eye out for raccoons because they can climb when they want, and they're nasty, dangerous enemies. But it's a rare raccoon that will climb my tree without my hearing him. I usually have to worry more about owls. Not that they usually prey on something as large and tough as me. Mostly eat mice, same as I do. But they scare me because they have powers I don't have. That's a fun way of describing it. I used to have having an edge over earlier creatures, and today I can hear better than most. I can see better than anything. My vision is many times better than the normal human vision. If I were at home plate, you'd be holding a book going on right field, be able to read it. If you're walking on the other side of the street, be able to see a flea crawling on your hair. But that's in daylight. At night, I see a little better than a human. I mean, better than a normal human. But not much. That's why owls scare me. They see through darkness like I see through daylight. To an owl, I'm as visible as if our outline in a bright red flashing neon. And an owl doesn't make any noise when it flies in. No noise at all. None. Yeah, they have special feathers for that. It makes me nervous, but what can you do? Because everyone has problems, right? But at night, I listen for sounds of raccoons scrabbling over my eyes to watch the ghostly owls do their killing work. I wish I had a house. You asked me to think about being a red tail, I'll give you 2 different answers at a time of day. When the sun's up and the thermals are piling on the tall clouds and riding a high breeze a million miles over humans who crawl on below me, I'd say it's great. But at night, when I cower my branch in pure half blind for the trees and through the leaves on a cold moon only listen to sounds of night predators, well, that's different. This night was different for a couple of reasons. I went to my normal perch. I was in a scruffy pine tree that was located near the cave. I was staying guard Harbinger listening to threats to them. Outside my normal territory in a familiar tree, and I was jumpy. As I sat there in my town stuck in a bark heard the high-pitched squeal of a mouse. I drove back towards sleep, tried to remember what it had been like to sleep in a bed at night, but I couldn't really remember. I can only remember what it was like for the others. Cassie and Jake, Marco, Rachel all asleep in their beds, all covers pulled up and pillows fluffed, alarm clocks glowing in their nightstands. I heard a sound. My eyes opened and peered down for a branch saw shaped like a deformed deer, ghostly pale in the filtered moonlight. Hey, Axeman. Hello, Tobias, you heard me. I was trying to be silent. You're very quiet for a big, four-legged, two-handed, four-eyed scorpion alien. He laughed. One of these nights I might show you. Huh, man, Regos might fly on my butt. Is that possible? No, see, that's why it's funny. I understand, said Axe, clearly not understanding at all. Nights in the forest have gotten a bit better since Axe joined our group. Having around it's act like being a nice snug bed, but it's nice to have someone to talk to. The other animals don't have much to say exactly. Our two Harbinger are pretty quiet in there. They're talking early, most in their own language, but even then they use some English words. Why is that? The Harbinger are never a very intellectual species, except with a bit of snobbery. Their own language is primitive, but only about 500 words. That's what we learned in school, at least. I suppose it's true. I guess for my duty here on Earth, the Earth thought they'd be able to speak should be able to speak... No, I guess for duty here on Earth, they thought they should be able to speak a few words of a human language. I didn't mean eavesdrop on them, but it's easy for me to hear. He using Harbinger words sound like Kawatnov, something like that anyway. I don't know the word, he admitted. I don't speak Harbinger. I'll ask them what it means tomorrow. Maybe you shouldn't. They don't seem to like you Andalites. We tried to save them from Yerk, said sudden anger. We failed, yes, we did try. Why should they hate us? I don't know, Axeman. Maybe they had Yerks in their heads still on and just absorbed their hatred for Andalites. Well, the Yerks should hate us. We'll defeat them in the end, and of course you humans will help too. I laughed silently. I like Axeman was a bit arrogant about his own species. I guess I'll go on patrol again, Axeman. I haven't seen or heard anything unusual. Do you really think we'd lead him safely to the mountain valley you mentioned earlier? I didn't answer. Mentioning a valley just reminded me. Axe, here that information just pop in your head and not know where it came from? No, I don't think so. Maybe something I forgot and remembered later. No, this is something I couldn't possibly know, like... I froze. Taxons. They're crawling through the woods. I can see in my mind. Huge centipedes, each as big around as a redwood tree. They moved on dozens of rows of needle-sharp legs, held the upper third of their bodies erect, keeping their fragile rows of upper legs clear off the ground. I can see in my mind. I can see the grasping round mouths ringed with teeth. I can see the jelly ball eyes. Tobias, like that, I'm concerned. Taxons. There are Taxons coming. Where? He asked an alarm. They're coming. I looked around. No sign of anything strange other than Taxons, but I was dead sure they were coming just the same. Actually, you know, I started talking about things I couldn't possibly know. That just happened again, just now. There are like a dozen Taxons coming this way. Some I can smell the Harbinger, like bloodhounds. All four of his eyes looked up at me. He looked grim. Taxon trackers sense warm flesh from miles away as long as they have a sample. They're a special breed. How did you know that? How did you know Taxon trackers hunt by smell? I don't know, Axe, but I'm sure going to find out, I said angrily. Someone or something is using me, and I don't like it very much. He ignored my outbursts. If they send Taxons, they'll be back now with Harbinger or humans. No matter Taxons could possibly destroy a pair of Harbinger. Those two could slice up Taxons all day. Can we throw them off the scent? No, if they smell these Harbinger, nothing will throw them off. Then we'll just have to move them now. They can't be out that fast, we have to move out now. Axe, I get the Harbinger started. You have to get Jay quickly. Tell him what's happening. Yes, Tobias, I'll do that, but how will we find you're busy hiding from the Yerks? Take it to the area, all have bird morphs. Use them. There's nothing raptor eyes can't find. I'll be heading toward the mountains. Heading toward the mountains with a pair of Harbinger while someone or something used me like a sock puppet. Well, that's going to change. I was the predator, I was a hunter. No one was going to use me. Chapter 15. Jirahami, we need to go. Right now, I told Harbinger's axe around toward the night. He stuck his bladed snake head out of the bushes. What has happened? Taxons are tracking you. I swear he went pale, his narrow eyes wide in fear. Taxing, said the very word made him want to spit. But we acted very quickly. He went back to the cave and came out with Ket. I couldn't still really tell one from the other, but at least not in the dark. Darky's still around. Yeah, I know, I guess it won't stop them, so let's get going. But how are we supposed to move through a pitch-black forest? I had no idea. I couldn't see to my disappointment they were not a good seeing in the dark either. It was rough going. I couldn't exactly dry my feathers through thorn bushes. They couldn't fly. And it was dark. Kind of dark you can get when you're a long way from the lights of homes and cars and street lamps. So dark I couldn't see a tree until you ran into it. Like being blind. I rode Jirahami's horn just like I would Rachel, and we were moving more slowly and trying to leave tracks. Where? Jirahami asked. Go where? I don't really know, grumbled. Guess a little voice in my head will tell me. He grunted like it made sense to him. Head voice told me to run. What voice? I couldn't see his face against expression. Not that I would know what expression would have meant anyway. Ket hop back and Jirahami at Yerk pool. Yerk drained out. Yerk in pool. Head voice say, run, go that way. I sighed another boat getting slapped in the face by a branch. Talking to Harbinger was frustrating. You're saying the idea just popped in your head to run away from the Yerk pool? Heads say, run, Jirahime, take Ket Halpak, run and be free, run from Yerks. I ask how? How will Jirahime and Ket Halpak be free? Heads say, I will send a guide. What? Heads say, run. No, the last part about a guide. Head voice say, I will send a guide. Who, me? He didn't answer. I was coming to realize Harbinger don't really get a lot of things. Speech seems unnatural to them, and it's true they're not geniuses, which was fine. But I was getting more annoyed by the whole thing. I was being moved around, put in one place or the other. Things I couldn't possibly know was being popped in my head. I was being used. I didn't like that idea. I deeply didn't like the idea of that. Okay, that does it. Stop, I told them. They stopped. The two of them stood in the dark by trees and waited. We go now? No. Tyson's coming. Yep, I know. We go now? No. Not until I get some answers. I said defiantly. This little parade stops right here until I get some... By the time I said answers, I was not in the forest anymore. I wasn't anywhere. Not anywhere I could understand, at least. Found myself floating. Hanging in the air, only it wasn't the air. I wasn't flying, just floating. There was light, a beautiful blue-green sort of light. It didn't come from any place. It just seemed to be coming from everywhere at once. One thing was for sure, I wasn't in the forest anymore. Hello, Tobias. We meet again. The voice was huge, but not harsh. It felt my brain seemed to resonate from my body. My feathers quivered. My fingers tingled. Fingers? Then I realized I've been changed. I looked at my body, and somehow in a way I couldn't explain, I've been seeing through my body as well, so I can see everything from every angle at once. See myself from a million different eyes. I was no longer a red-tailed hawk, but I wasn't human either, at least not in the way I'd once been. I had arms that were wings, but I had legs and talons. I had a beak, but it was a mouth also. I know it sounds crazy, I know it's impossible to imagine, but somehow it's with a human and a bird and some third thing between them. We'd have many incredible things. I first found dying like Princeton and abandoned construction site. I've seen Yerks and all their tools, the Taxons, Skeds, Harbinger. I've seen analytes and met the Chi, the androids in human form. I traveled through time into the Yerk pool in orbit in spaceships. But there's only one species that could do this. Only one species that filled that huge head-feeling, well, not huge head-feeling voice. The Elma said an actual voice came from my mouth. Then from a vague turquoise fog around, I saw a flying toward me like a bird of prey. A raptor, so identifiable shape, part falcon, eagle, hawk. Had a snow-white belly and reddish black back, and a tail spread to show a dusky rainbow of colors. The bird flew toward me and stopped and floated in midair. Yes, Tobias. Elemist. Or at least an Elemist. It laughed and the whole turquoise universe laughed along. So you're the puppet master, I said. I should have known, but isn't how you looked last time I saw you. The bird-shaped smile. Don't ask me how it did so, it just did. I chose a shape you identify with. Baloney, you know better than that. You know I'm human. Are you? You don't look like a human to me. I felt queasy against my stomach. I looked at the body I had. A body is equal parts boy and bird. What do you want from me? Why are you making me do things I don't want to do? What have I made you do, Tobias? You put me in a place I don't want to be. You drive me a stupid missile Harbinger. He is all from bird to human, but not entirely. A human with wings, like I did at the moment. He spoke in but a simple human voice. I once put you in your friend's position to give your former species a chance. I looked deep in the future and found a way to help you. I used my power directly, and now you're in position to help the Harbinger. They not deserve the same chances as humans. You're trying to save the Harbinger race from Yerks? He smiled again and shook his head. We do not interfere. We do not use our power for one species against another. Bull, I said. He let that go with a faint smile. I will not force you to buy, so I'll guarantee you even succeed. There's a chance you'll die and they will, and all this will have been a waste. Thanks, that cheers me up. Why me? Why stick me with this job? What, am I some kind of hero? He didn't laugh. Tobias, you are a beginning. You are a point on which an entire timeline may turn. I guess I should have made it feel important, but it didn't. I wasn't interested in being flattered. You want my help? Fine, then I want yours. You're just about all powerful according to Axe. You can make entire galaxies disappear if you want to. I don't know why you don't just make things happen the way you want, but whatever. I looked him in the eyes. Right in the eyes are a disturbing mirror image of my own. You want me to lead him to this place you put in my head? Fine, but I won't get paid for my services. And what do you want, Tobias? You know what I want, so I was choking on the words. You know. Yes, but do you know what you want, Tobias? And if you get it, will you still know? And then suddenly, without any sensation or movement, I was back in the dark of the forest. Chapter 16. It was a long night, I can tell you that for sure. A very long night. Even a Harbinger worn out by the time the first faint gray of pre-dawn started to appear. The whole time I was waiting to see a bunch of Taxons suddenly show up while a heavily armed Harbinger, or else visit free in one of his morphs. Every shadow could be an enemy. And I had other enemies in the forest to worry about. I was extremely aware of the fact that any number of other birds or hungry animals could notice me and think I'd make a nice snack. But I was riding a Harbinger, and none of the forest predators would figure out how to deal with that. At one point, a herd of wolves probably scouting just a few dozen yards away and watched us. Wolves are smart. They didn't know what Harbinger were, but they knew they didn't want to mess with them. Deer scampered away. Owls dismissed us. We were obviously not mice, and that's all they cared about. Foxes slunk away. Raccoons froze. Only the forest most fierce creature ignored and went about its business. In fact, I stopped Cat Hopback from stepping on one. Stop! No one move! I'd seen the warning strikes as most fearsome animal. Yerks? Taxons? No, worse. A skunk. Let go on its way. No one move a muscle till it's gone. Ha! Small animal. Not kill Jarahami. No, it won't kill you. It'll just make you wish you were dead. I didn't know how much ground we covered by the time I finally took a rest. I can't judge distances on the ground very well anymore. All I knew was the sky was a shade lighter than absolute black, and the Harbinger had started to stumble. They were beaten, I was starving. Do you need something to eat? I asked the two Harbinger. We eat, Jarahami agreed. Without delay, he walked over a tree, a pine of some sort. He drew back and slashed a tree trunk with his elbow blade. He sliced it right up about a 3-foot gash in the bark, with his wrist blade began to slice the bark away in chunks ranging from a few inches long and almost a foot square. He tossed slabs back to his mate and took some for himself. That's what you eat? Yes. Is that how you eat back in your own world? He chewed a bark and let him be looking far off. When Jarahami's small, Jarahami eat from Canver, eat from Liwak, eat from tall Fitfits. Are those trees? I mean, they're like these trees? Better. Better, Jarahami agreed. I got a feeling Jar thought he might have insulted me by dissing Earth trees. Earth tree good? Earth tree good, Cat Hopback agreed. It made me smile inside. There are times in my life so utterly insane I can only laugh. A pair of goblins some far planet where they hurt my feelings didn't like pine bark. Then like a light going up ahead, I realized something. Jira? Cat, is that my Harbinger a blaze of shift of bark from trees? Cat Hopback stood up. I was sitting on a running log, so when she towered over like a skyscraper, we pointed her elbow blade for straight cuts, indicating wrist blade, she said, for taking off. Seeing her knee, she explained, for down by ground. For the bottom of trees, each of the blades specially useful, each one for harvesting tree bark. Yes. She stepped back and took another chunk of bark. They aren't weapons, they aren't to defend yourselves from enemies or kill prey. She looked, Jarahami looked right at me. Harbinger have no enemy, no prey. Harbinger not kill. Yerk kill. Yerk kill Andalites, and I kill Yerk. Harbinger die. You're caught in the middle, but that's why I took a race. The blades made you deadly once the Yerk evil's in your head. The ultimate soldiers, like all because you're adapted to eating tree bark. They don't just say them back to eating. Look, I have to go for a while. I have to get food too. Here, a chunk of bark. Our food, yours. Thanks, but I need a different food. I didn't bother to tell them what I ate or how I got it. You know, it's strange. I never felt guilty of being a predator when I was with humans. After all, Homo sapiens is the king of predators. But these deadly Harbinger are not predators at all. Despite their looks no more dangerous than a deer with a large rack of antlers. They're just victims. Just species that had the bad luck to look fearsome. And now they're caught up in a war between Yerks and the rest of the free species of the galaxy. I thought all the Bowser had a Harbinger. Had they come close to killing me more than once. I had hated and feared them, but now I just felt sorry for them. And I felt sorry still because I knew my friends and I would fight against Harbinger again in the future. I'll be back in half an hour, so I said to Wing, don't worry, I won't leave you. Chapter 17. As I flew through the trees, I saw the sun just peeking over the rim of the earth to the east. It instantly lit the treetops with gold, and it was a beautiful sight. Golden leaves and dark shadows beneath, and clouds all red on one side and all still night gray on the other. It felt good to be up off the ground. It felt good to have air beneath my wings like cold, clean breeze on my face. I spent the night cleaning the Harbinger's horns and slogging through brush. There was no place for a bird, or in a human and bird shape. The air was still flat, no thermals, no updrafts, so I had to work hard, but it felt good to fly my wings and stretching my muscles. I'd miss since I became human again. Would they always get back a human body, let me keep the morphing power? I hope so. I didn't think I'd never fly again. Below me I spied an opening, not even a meadow, just a small clearing of tall grass and fallen logs, and a telltale burrow opening of rats and voles and their tasty morsels. But I had to be careful. This clearing probably belonged to someone else, another hawk maybe, not to mention other species. I had to get in and out fast, get in, make my kill, and bail. I stopped to grab my laser sharp eyes looking for tiny moves to betray a mouse or rat. Sometimes the light's just right in the hunger sharp, almost like I can see right through the ground, like I see the mice in their warm burrows. And maybe that's why I didn't see that danger, because that was because I was totally focused on eating. I did spot a rat though, a nice plump little thing, waddling along for his own breakfast. I dived from behind. Suddenly there was an air pocket. Threw me off balance and nearly splattered myself on dirt. Came back at just time and lost my rat. Aw man, what happened to go as a breakfast a nice bowl of Wheaties? Well, it'll be that way again soon, as soon as he almost kept his promise. A warm bed night and an easy breakfast in the morning. Now that's how it would have been when I was human. I hadn't exactly had a nice, normal family. My folks left a long time ago, after I got passed from one aunt or uncle to the other. When I was stuck in morph and disappeared from human world, I didn't know if any of them would look for me. I showed us off the side, I flapped my wings over takeoffs, and I cleared the tops of the grasses when, wham! I was hit. You know, like someone had thrown a brick at me. I was down, fluttering in the grass, beating my wings in terror. What hit me? What was happening? And only then did I see it poking through the grass, an intelligent, curious face, tawny fur, 4 big paws, and a bite might have been 3 feet long from its nose. The end of the weirdly curved short tail gave the beast its name. Bobcat. The wind had been knocked out, I practically fell apart when I saw a big cat. It circled around me, watching me curiously, wondering if I'd fight back. Calm brown and gold eyes surveyed me as I would survey a wounded rat. The hawk in me wanted to flap its wings, try to scare it away, but the human in me knew I had only one chance. I was fast, but it was like lightning, and it was powerful. It hit me with one big claw and knocked me silly. A blow was so graceful, it seemed to be slow motion. It was so fast, I had a chance to even think about dodging. How had I been so careless? How could I miss a bobcat in the bushes? I'm not going to die because of my carelessness. I stood my talons, awkward and helpless on the ground, but I stood my ground and I closed one talon around a stick. It was a twig really no more than 2 feet long. I stared hard at the bobcat, I taste hawk meat. I moved, it would lunge. If I didn't move, it would still lunge. One small chance, I hit its eyes where it sunk its teeth into me. The hawk in my head screamed, fly, 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 but the human in me said no. The hawk couldn't win, only the human could. I clutched the stick tightly. And then lunge. The bobcat flew at me and I jerked back, ready to stick up off the ground. It howled a sharp stick poked its left eye. Okay, now we fly. I flapped over my little town field, but the ground hauled like I'd never hauled before. But it was after me, 1 step, 2, and it caught up, and then it stopped. It turned, I saw it stare. I saw its back for a raise an alarm. Over the bobcat loomed a shape as big around as a redwood tree. 3 rows of tiny weak claws snapped and clawed the air. A giant centipede head drew back and saved 2 of the red jelly eye clusters. A taxon. And down came a red round mouth on the bobcat. It swallowed the cat in a single bite for a shot down, looking to figure out what to do. As I flapped my way clear of the ground, thorns and twigs and raspy grass ripped at me, pulling out of the feathers, but I didn't care about a few feathers right then. I found a breeze and thanked Mother Nature for giving me wings. I shot up until I was in the treetop level. Only then did I even look back. They were crawling along the clearing toward the trees, a dozen of them. Taxons out in daylight, where some lucky hiker could see them. It was insane. And behind it came an army of Harbinger warriors, and with them were dozens of human controllers all armed to the teeth. It hit me at full force, they didn't care about being careful. The Earth's going to catch you to our future Harbinger no matter the cost, no matter who died. It was pure Yerk ruthlessness unleashed. This is an army against me and 2 decent, simple, and not very bright Harbinger. And I still hadn't had breakfast. Chapter 18. I was shaking pretty badly by the time I got back out into the blue, and the first thing I saw was a Perigene falcon riding high. Perigene's leash mess with hawks, so I wasn't taking feeling cocky. I didn't need any more trouble. I just want to get back to my 2 Harbinger and get us all out of here. Tobias, are you down there by any chance? A huge sigh of relief. It was Jake. Oh man, I'm glad to hear your voice. The woods are full of tasks, Harbinger, and human controls and anything else the Yerk can throw at us. Not to mention hungry bobcats, added silently. Yeah, we know it's almost marched straight into a couple of guys out there fishing on the streams. Managed to scare them out. They'd be taxing meat right now. We, the Ers, are with you? I search the sky, a bald eagle, an osprey. I see Rachel near Cassie or Marco. Axe on the ground, Marco's around somewhere. Oh, they are above you. Perigene, thank you. Oh, don't I see an osprey come ripping out for a wisp with low clouds and a stoop. Tobias, Mario Gilly, gotcha. This is not time to mess with me, I yelled. Not by one feather I'm being kitty food and I'm hungry and tired and mad. Chill, Tobias, shakes it kindly. You can relax. I'm here to help you now. I heard Cassie's thoughts like voice coming up fairly far away. Tobias, we've been thinking, you know you seem to end up in the right place at the right time, or just the wrong place depending on how you look at it, I muttered. We're thinking maybe some sort of power or force, some person in front of you kind of manipulating you. If anyone Cassie would probably say something sarcastic, no duh, but it's possibly sarcastic. Yeah, someone's definitely messing with me, an old friend of ours. Who? It seems the Elmist trying to save the Harbinger, not that he'll admit that. Axe was right, Cassie said. He guessed it was the Elmist. Rachel's close enough to communicate. Yeah, you know Axe feels with that guy, or creature, or whatever the Elmist is. He says to watch her butt. The Elmist plays games with people. I thought what the Elmist promised me to give me what I wanted. When I called that conversation, I couldn't exactly remember an actual promise. I had to chill my bones. How do you actually promise to make me human again? Are you okay, Tobias? That's what Rachel asked. I tell from her tone it was a private message, only I could hear it. Yeah, I guess so. The Elmist says he'll, you know, maybe human again. Somehow putting in actual words didn't seem right. Yeah, that's what I wanted. To be human again, to live like the others, eat cold cereal and fried eggs, rest hunting and healing, to walk, to spend my nights inside in a bed, to sit down and watch TV, or just sit at all. Tobias, that's so great, Rachel said. Yeah, but like the Axe said, the Elmist plays games. We still have to start Harbinger getting wiped out ourselves. And also a voice shaking Marco and Cassie and Marco could hear. I said, follow me guys, I'll take you to our 2 alien friends. I turned and angled to the breeze. It was coming from behind my right wing now. It'd be hard flying that way if the wind was too strong. I'd keep correcting your direction because the wind would kind of sneak up and push you off course. We flew hard to see the Earth armor was behind us. I spotted 2 Harbinger over the trees. Looked like they were talking. Looking closer, I see they were holding hands. Aww. I felt embarrassed dropping out of the sky on him. Hey, you two, I'm coming in. Some friends are with me. We landed in a tree, and now we're facing a serious decision, life or death. The Earth is so close to our 2 hour limit. We need to demorph. But so far, we've not revealed our true species. If they were recaptured, the Earth would have access to everything in their heads, every memory. Jake, I asked, what are you guys gonna do? It's a big game to know where we are, I answered. I don't mean get all CIA on us, Marco said, but they know we're human. They can't be captured. I mean, I know what you mean, I interrupted. Probably better be dead in a controller anyway, Marco said. Easy for you to say, Rachel said. Let's talk to them. And Jerry and Kat are my friends, I said. Harpager, Marco crowed. Those two walking cruisin' nords? I don't know what that is, actually. Those two 7-foot-tall lawnmowers, these living razor blades, are your friends? I ignored him like Jirahime. Jirahime, I need to know something. Your catcher, you. He didn't even let me finish. He flung out a blade arm slashing the air, then more carefully pointed to his own head, right to the scar he'd made. No more Yerk here. Free, or no Jirahime. No Cat Hoppak. Only free. Free or dead, Cat Hoppak said harshly. I see why you like him, Tobias, Rachel said. She flew down a tree and began to demorph. I heard Jake sigh. Well, I guess we have to take a chance. Well, a few minutes everyone was human again except for me. I guess we were surprised and I didn't know what they expected to be, but it wasn't human. The two big aliens just stood there and stared, and when they realized what they were, they laughed. Crah, crah. Looks like it was laughter. Now, who knows how they laugh? Human folk, Cat Hoppak said, sounding amazed and possibly gleeful. Jeremy looked at me. You human folk? I used to be. I'm not exactly the same. I've changed. And Jeremy changed too. Not free. Now free. That's when Axe came barreling through the woods and leapt right in the middle of our little group. He was carrying a bag, and a bag were shoes here. See, when you morph, you can only morph tight clothing, but shoes can't be done. He sat back down and stared away only I can in all directions at once. This is very dangerous, let him see what you are, I said Healy. The Harbinger can never be recaptured. They can never be taken alive now. They won't be, I said. They're going to be free. Free or dead, Jirahime yelled. Okay, I definitely like these guys, Rachel said. She kind of hung her head and looked at Jirahime. Free or dead, she yelled just as loudly as they did. And Jake and Cassie and I yelled it too, with slightly less enthusiasm. In my case, we're close to being dead just a few minutes ago. I'll give you 2-to-1 odds on dead, Marcus said grimly. We all keep yelling with a bunch of taxes half a mile away. I'll make it 10-to-1. Rachel and I grabbed Marco by shoulders and gave him a good hard shake. Come on, you baby, say it. Free or dead? Yeah, free or dead. Then he laughed. Rachel, you know you're crazy, right? Cuisinarts, aka Blender Blades. Oh, I didn't know it's had a name. Yeah, but she's a Packard Foundation outstanding student who's insane, Cassie chimed in. I'm sure yours be impressed, Marco said. Jake smiled a curious smile at me. Well, let's get going. Chapter 19. Oh, and thank you for head pats. Chapter 19. Where exactly are we going, Marco asked. We're going to wherever this valley is, the valley that Elma showed me, I said. She'll be singing that, Valerie song, Marco asked. I know what that is. I mean, we are all wondering. Marco, you should never be singing anything, Rachel said. I heard you sing. We were a small strange little parade. After an hour, we reached the lower foothills of the mountains, and for the last 2 hours, we climbed up those hills, up and up. Jake, Rachel, Cassie, and Mark are all in their own human bodies, walking single file and 2 Harbinger behind. Axe sat in front, scouting ahead. He was far faster than humans and faster than Harbinger. He built a handle if he happened to bump into some enemy Harbingers. I flew covered. I did a small circle as I carried me all the way out to where Axe was and all around the area. The part is hard because there's a steady little headwind rolling down in front of the mountains. On the backside of the circle, I would drift around so I could see the first edge of the pursuing Taxons. Between Axe and me, I figured I wouldn't be surprised by anything leaping out at us, but when we climbed a higher foothill past went, the more worried it became. What was the point of leading him out to some secluded valley about a whole Yerk army with us? Did he always have some clever plan? Probably not. He seemed to think he had to do absolute minimum. He didn't mind sticking his little finger in a time machine, but didn't exactly jump in all the way. I had a feeling we were on our own. I drifted all over my friends until I hear Marco complain. I'm just saying, hey, is there some reason I almost can't just transport us wherever we're going? This hill climbing is killing my legs, up and up and up. Are you gonna whine the whole way, Rachel asked? Yes, Marco confirmed, that's the plan. Whine the entire way. I think it's kind of nice, I said. I mean, we're out in nature, breathing fresh air, no noise or distractions, no TV or stereos, no cars, just nature, trees, and animals. Yeah, I guess you're right, Cassie, Marco said. We'd be more relaxing going to hike with a couple of fugitive space goblins being hunted by giant worms and Visitor 3 himself, and all the time knowing we're falling into plan some galactic pain in the butt who gets us to do all his dirty work. Cassie grinned. Yeah, but while we're running from giant worms, breathing nice fresh air. Come on, Marco, you can use the exercise. She got behind Marco, so I pushed him to the hill. Just keep telling yourself we're having fun with nature. Having fun with nature. How about this? I'm hungry, he says I glide out of hearing range. He was hungry, I was hungry, everyone was hungry, Harbinger, because we didn't let them strip bark. That would have made it easier for the Earths to follow us. Then I saw breakfast, even though it's more like lunchtime. Mouse sitting right out in the open, I was digging seeds out of a fallen pine cone. I asked only for a moment, and down I went. It was a perfect strike. I felt great. The hot part of mine was pretty simple how it looked when it eats, it's happy, and it was a pretty satisfying sensation when it comes to doing a job well, even if the job is hunting mice. I just back above the trees, saw disaster looming, and heard that characteristic sound. Helicopters, I yelled. They was all too far away. I cursed myself, idiot. While you were hunting, you spot helicopters. There were 3 of them spread a mile or so, and they were coming up fast. I flew, but the wind coming down the mountains against me, I could barely make progress. Those choppers flew my friends, they spot them in an instant. They see 4 humans who become a Jordan Andalite, and everything be over. I used our flying trick I knew to gain speed. I raced forward every time the breeze slackened. I dropped down below trees to avoid stronger gusts. I slowly advanced. Jake, Rachel, if you hear me, get off the trail and morph. They couldn't answer, of course, because they weren't morphed themselves. I know if they heard me. Jake, Rachel, Cassie, Marco, helicopters are coming. Just then the first one started me roaring and ripping up the air. It was like being caught in a tornado. And the rotor wash grabbed me and threw me sideways through the air. I hit a branch. Snap. I felt a jolt of pain. I flapped my wings, but only my right wing worked. Then it hit me. The snap I heard was my own bone. I fell through the branches. I hit the ground and lay there, fluttering weakly, helpless, like only a flightless bird can be. Panic caught me up and carried me along. No. No, my friends needed me. I could just lie here on the leaves. No! And then, I saw the end coming for me. Not a bobcat, not a taxon or harbinger or a yerk of any sort. Just a humble, ordinary, everyday raccoon. What a way to go. What a way to go. Tanuki, yes. Well, no, raccoon, not tanuki. Very close, though. Chapter 20. The raccoon watched me and had 4 masked black eyes. I flared 1 good wing and snapped at my beak, but the raccoon was too smart and too experienced to... I'll start over. Chapter 20. The raccoon watched me with masked black eyes. I flared 1 good wing and snapped at my beak, but the raccoon was too smart and too experienced to fall for my tricks. I knew I was helpless. The second helicopter passed overhead, indifferent to the plight of a crippled hawk. The raccoon grabbed me by a broken wing and dragged me. I was on my back being dragged by an animal not much bigger than a large tabby cat. I snapped again and couldn't reach for my beak. I couldn't turn well to bring my talons to bear, and it knew that. Heard a gurgling sound of water and horror filled me. The fears of terror almost fainted. You see, I knew it was coming next. People say raccoons wash their food. That's not actually true. They do sometimes run water over, but it's not about cleanliness. They're careful eaters, or sensitive paws to dig for meat for anything they don't want. The water rushing over their paws helps them feel. He was going to eat me, and if he didn't care if I was still alive. No. 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 I screamed a deaf forest. I felt ice cold water flow over my feathers. I felt the busy fingers of the raccoon. No! You asked me for payment in exchange for using you. Would you like your reward now? The illness. Now! Now would be a really good time, I screamed. It is done. What's done? Nothing is done, you lunatic. I'm still a bird. Of course. Help me! The raccoon was literally looking down at me as they might look at a steak. He was deciding where to bite first. The Andalite gave you power. Use it. I was too insane to terror to figure out what he was saying. A person down me. What? That's my reward? That's all? You're giving me a morphing power? It is what you wanted. I wanted to be human again, I screamed. You liar, you cheat. I want to be human. But the Andalite said nothing more. It was my problem right then. My problem right then was the raccoon. His tiny, very sharp teeth were ascending toward me, so my last ounce of self-control ignoring the searing pain in my wing. I turned out to grab one of his hind legs with my weakened talon. Focus to bite myself. Focus or get eaten. I focused and concentrated my will. I reminisced on the raccoon's eyes cloud over. I felt his grip weaken, and like a miracle, I had to acquire the raccoon. I felt it become part of me. I'd only morphed 2 animals, a cat and a red-tailed hawk. I never escaped a red-tailed morph. I didn't have much experience morphing, not like the others. As I concentrated on raccoon DNA inside of my beak began to soften, my talons flattened, my wings, my glorious wings began to shrink. The raccoon, the real one, recoiled in surprise. He stepped back and stared as I morphed into him. It wasn't much of a change in size. Raccoons are much bigger than hawks, but everything else is different. My eyes are growing dim, something I couldn't smell as well as I hear. Feathers were morphing into gray and black fur. I was morphing. The real raccoon had seen enough. He was a smart, wild scrapper. He knew better to hang around a place where birds turn to raccoons. He waddled away. Yeah, that's pretty smart. He has had enough of that. No verses, unfortunately, Kirby. I was safe now, for now. The safe and becoming something I'd never been before. The sharp edge of terror started to recede. I felt almost enjoyable was happening. I was morphing. I had power again. I wanted to sit on the bench where the others went into danger. I was back, but not human. It's what she wanted, he almost said, but he was a liar, a cheat. He tricked me. I want to be human. I want to be human to get my own hands and feet and eyes and mouth. No time for that now, I told myself. Get to the others. Hurry. I took off at a run. Amazing. It was amazing me running down ground, little things rushing past. The ground was so close. It was scary in a way. I kept thinking, pull up my guts. I knew it's the need for altitude. It was dangerous flying close to the ground. No matter how much I tried to hurry, the raccoon body was just not built for speed. It lumbered along, so you need to stop constantly to sniff at this or that. It wasn't I could control a body. I could. That was fairly easy. The instincts, the urgent need for food, the fear of predators, that's all normal. I just couldn't get the stubby legs to move fast enough. My friends are half a mile away. I never reached them for help. I stopped. I was panting. The raccoon heart was racing. What could I do? What could I do? I'd end up in a useless morph. I craned my raccoon head upwards. I couldn't see too well, but I knew the sky was up there. I saw a faded sort of blue between the trees. Wait. Could I remorph back to my own body? My red-tailed body? DNA wasn't affected by injuries. A morph back I wouldn't have the broken wing. Would I? The heirs had done that. They morphed out of injured bodies and remorphed the bodies are whole again. I had to try it. It was so stupid. I've been left out of so many missions for because I couldn't morph. Now I could and I felt totally useless. I focused, closed my weak raccoon eyes, focused on a different body. A body with feathers and wings, and slowly became myself again. Very pointed words there, I feel. Chapter 21. I flew. I'd only been without wings for a few minutes. I still felt weirded out. I mean, I know the heirs are used to being different bodies, but I was not. I appeared ahead of my hawk sight, saw no helicopters, just a few shaking treetops, large beasts from between those trees, Taxons and Harbinger. I flew on and saw a tail end of the Yerk search party, human controllers of human bodies wearing out, staggering up the hill. Ahead of the Harbinger, they were stronger and faster. There were sergeants to keep holding them back so they wouldn't leave the humans behind. And out in front of them all, the attacks and trackers continued their search. I flew hard and fast, and at last saw the helicopters. They were low to the ground. They spread out in a line abreast, and unless I was so mistaken, they were past where my friends would be. I felt a chill of fear. I knew what they were going to do. This time it wasn't Elmas tell me what happened as my own predator instincts. I know friends were being hunted. I knew the Yerks would do it. The helicopters were a mile away, maybe more, so I heard nothing, but as I watched, I saw a sudden red sheer shot out toward the ground. Again and again, the helicopters fired their blazing Dracon beams down to dry trees, even drier underbrush. They were starting a forest fire. Within minutes, a wall of smoke was advancing for the trees. A wall of smoke that would be a mile long end to end. It blocked Jake and Rachel and the others. It stopped them and turned them back toward the waiting Titans and Harbinger warriors. As I watched it flutter pale brown, some birds escaped into flames. A stab of red flamed and burnt in the air. I met with my friends in Morph. What am I supposed to do? I yelled at the Elmas. This is impossible. I can't stop these helicopters. You're just gonna stand by and do nothing? There was no answer. I wasn't surprised. Axis said the Elmas was playing his own games. He didn't care if I thought it was fair or not. I dropped down, saw a tree out low, avoiding Dracon. The wind wasn't strong down in trees. I had the worst problems being having to dodge branches. Then I glimpsed below me. I saw a pale blue deer with a scorpion tail. Access me, Tobias. Hello, Tobias. I said calmly as if nothing were happening. Where is everyone? They're nearby. We seem to be in a trap. No kidding, I said. Then I thought all my friends said, everyone keep your heads down. Don't try and fly. The Yerks are shooting anything that rises over the trees. A huge round barrel the size of a minivan came lumbering up. Rachel, I hope it's you because I had enough close calls so I can stand for one day. It's me, Tobias. Chill. Take a rest. If you may have 5 minutes, the whole thing closes in on us. So over to appearing home by Jake and his tiger morph. Cassie and Marco came running from the direction of helicopters. Cassie's gray fur was singed. I could smell the reek of burnt hair. More helicopters coming to join those 3, Marco reported. Oh, hi, Tobias. There, I figured you'd flown off somewhere safe. I decided to take offense. I was too tired to care what Marco said. There's no way around that wall of fire, Cass said breathlessly. No Yorkshire, Hami said fearfully. Jirahami and Cat hop back free. We have to fight, Rachel, so we're going to go straight for those Taxons, blow past and catch Harbinger by surprise. No problem, we can... She stopped. Even she didn't believe what she was saying. They won't stop until Jerry and Cat are dead, Jake said flatly. The Earths are not going to give up. They're flat out never going to allow them to escape. I guess it set a bad example, Margaret said, but he wasn't making a joke. If they get away, who knows? Maybe others will try. They can't allow that. They need Harbinger to be without hope. They need to be convinced there's no way out. Marco's right, Cassie said. Look at the risks they're taking. I mean, geez, they started a forest fire. They have Taxons Harbinger all over. They've gone nuts. And Jirahami and Cat hop back free, Jirahami said again, as if he's trying to convince himself. Wait a minute, I said, wait a minute. That's what you said, Jake. What you said, they won't get out till they're dead. Yeah, so? They seemed to realize I was thinking. Yeah! And Rachel remorphed Jira. What are you thinking? What I'm thinking? Yeah, at least I think I am. When I was flying, I saw a deep ravine. We should be able to reach it. It should be perfect. We'll need Marco and Gorilla morph. We will? You lost me there, dude, Jake said. But okay, if you say so, Tobias. Marco and Gorilla morph. What else? We need someone to acquire a morph kit, I said. I'll do it, Jake said, hesitation. No, Jake, not this time, I said. I'll do it. No one said anything for a good 30 seconds. They just stared. They stared with wolf eyes, bear eyes, tiger eyes, and all 4 andalite eyes. They're trying to decide if I was insane. You will, Rachel said. You will? Yeah, I'll morph Cat. I'll morph Harbinger. And she clicked. The Elmas? That's what he did. He thought he was going to make you human again. There's an edge of anger in her tone, of outrage. Elmas, Axel proudly spat the word. Never trust them. Oh no, Cassie whispered. I said they gave back the power to morph, but not... No. Look, unless I'm a full member of the team again, I can morph, but I guess I'm still a hawk. I'll be keeping my wings. I fully told them the details of my plan. I just stick to business. There's no time for feeling sorry for myself. I sure didn't want them feeling sorry for me either. There's no time for pity or anger. There's nothing I could do for the Elmas, nothing I could do. Okay, Cassie, we need you to stay in wolf morph. Axe, switch cats back and try to stay out of view. Marco, you know your part, right? Yeah, guys, said Nursely is temporarily human in between morphs. He is legally forever a bird. I mean, accurate. That is what's on the cover of all the books. Bird. Marco's power plan is most difficult. If you failed, Rachel and I were dead. No problem, right? I said. Yeah, no problem. Just make sure one of you is a few seconds behind the other. I need some time. I know my role, Jake said. He was coming out as Tiger Morph up in the air. My old job, I said. Yeah, let's hope I can do as well as you always did, Jake said. Cassie, Axel's move it. Marco quit worrying about catching a pass with your eyes closed. No big deal for mighty Marco. He laughed. That's it, flattery. Now I know we're dead, but don't worry. I'll be there. Maybe he can morph into human for a couple hours. He could if, well, hypothetically, yeah, he can morph on his friends or something. But, you know, he's kind of hoping to have his own body back, I imagine. If he has to take it from someone else, it's not exactly the same. Well, he'd probably think of it as taking in that case. Anyway. I floated a sand cat hat back shoulder, an easy to find place to sit on Harbinger. I dug my talons and just been a dark leathery skin and acquired the DNA. All right, here sounds of enemies closing over the thump 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 of helicopters. Now getting closer to my hawk here, can even take the faint of Dracon beams. Sometimes there's a loud crack almost like thunder, a sound of a tree exploding as a beam turns a beam tree sap into steam in a split second. And of course there's the roar of the fire itself, but I shut all that out of my mind. All I had to focus on was acquiring Harbinger. I hop back when slightly limp, I could feel the muscles relaxing. At last I flew away to a bare spot in the forest floor. The others were all watching, even while they did their own morphs. I think halfway straight I was nuts. They wondered if I just made up being able to morph. I closed my eyes, held the image in my mind, and then very quickly began to feel the changes. I sprouted from pine needles and dead leaves. I rocketed up so fast I could help but yell. Whoa! He is morphing, Marco said. I guess that's something at least, Mary Rachel said bitterly. I ignored her tone. I couldn't listen to her anger because it'd make me mad too. A predator's never angry, just hungry. Anger only gets in the way. I may as well buy a shit or be acquired? Huh. Well, that's the thing, though. He never acquired himself in that sense. None of them did. That's just their default to go back to. But his default seems to be the hawk right now, so maybe it doesn't work that way. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Or if it does work like the way you're thinking, Algie, maybe he just doesn't think he can. Maybe it's like a mental block sort of thing. But anyway, we'll see, I guess. Up and up I grew, and as I grew, the wings grew with me. It's funny the way morphing works. It's never totally logical, and it was always gross. Seeing as morphing I watched the others change, as a scene out of some lunatic's nightmare. Bodies melted, weird appendage suddenly grew here and there. Teeth appeared where before there was a mouth to even hold them. Fur grew like one of those time-lapse videos of mold just shooting out of the skin. Big humans tower around steadily on tiny dog-like legs. Yeah, no wonder I saw a spectacle. I wonder if someone with the morphing ability could use the recombiner DNA, like someone X or Y morphing themselves with two X's instead, or replace cancer cells with the original DNA. Hair doesn't change though, morphing's a bit weird. I don't know the specifics of that, but I don't think they do anything like that in particular. If you haven't wondered, saw a spectacle of 4 kids and a bird all melting and mutating as 2 giant aliens watch, you definitely think you're insane. You want to see a psychiatrist after you stop screaming. I feel the changes have my body, not they are painful. They weren't, but I still feel things going on. I could hear them. My insides are reorganizing. Harbinger, at least 2 hearts, maybe more. So 2 entirely new hearts are being formed inside me. From the heart's new arteries and veins. I had to go from my heart to just systems I had to handle big chunks of raw mass, the one built for tree bark. I hear a gurgling sound as internal organs stretched and shifted. I hear a stretching, grinding sound as big, thick, solid bones replace my hollow bird ones. On the outside, I saw my wings grow till they're huge, and amazing speed the feathers melt into hard, leathery skin. There's a snap as joints on my wings change direction. I bend the way a Harbinger arm bends. Out came the blades. Swoop, blades on my wrists, blades on my elbows, forward swept horn blades on my snake head. Hey, Tobias, Mark said you kept the same feet. It was a joke, but it was true. There was no difference between my hawk talons and a feet of Harbinger, except they were maybe 100 times bigger. Somehow that made me feel better. I like the look of those big ripping talons. I like the way they go. I like thinking about what they do to a Taxon. Cassie and Axe took off at a run. They allowed distance to cover very fast. Fortunately, Wolf can run almost flat out all day long. Doesn't know how fast anything can move. No doubts. Shirahami and Ket Hopback left with them. Marco's a huge powerful gorilla. Morph kept getting ready to leave too. See you guys later, I hope, he said. Be there, Rachel growled. She pointed a dangerous Harbinger arm. Okay, I'll be there. Don't be too long. I might decide to take a nap, he joked as he lumbered off. Jake was perched on branches over my head, a peregrine falcon, a fast thing in the air. He spread his wings so awfully me and Rachel alone. Rachel morphed to a mirror image of me. We were finding her harbinger. Ready? I asked her. She peered me from behind alien eyes. You okay, Tobias? Sure, I wouldn't be. You haven't exactly had a great day. I laughed grimly. I'm a freak of nature, Rachel. 8 days to stay alive is a good day for me. Okay. Chapter 23. High above the treetops, Jake flew in his swift peregrine falcon, more calling down directions to Rachel and me. It was weird, but like Jake had taken over my role or something. It was pretending to be me, normally up there riding the wind. Okay, not far now, Jake said. You're almost there. You guys know which direction to go to catch your trail, right? Yeah, we know, Mother. Rachel said. What are we, idiots? And me said, we do know, right? I'm pretty sure it's hard to keep track of these things that are down on the ground. Just trees and bushes everywhere. You can't see the surrounding. You can yet see the sun. The trees impossible harbinger to try being quiet. The forest is impossible harbinger to try being quiet. We could have slashed our way through brambles and thorn bushes that would have attracted too much attention too soon. So we tried to hurry without making too much noise, and let me tell you, harbinger by is not built for quiet. That's why we have you up there, Jake said, cheerfully, to guide you. Don't sweat it. I see a ravine. I can see where Cassie and Axel harbinger are getting in position. I see Marco, Hackaby's falcon, I see Marco's fleas. Each of you be cocky and up there safe. You see a line of fire, Rachel asked Jake? I'm sure I do smell it. Yeah, in fact, fire forms a semicircle around you. The Titans and friends are near half of the circle. The only way open is the ravine. We're just gonna get one chance. Wonderful, I said. Okay, guys, a big fat pair of Titans are just the other side of that pile of rocks. What pile of rocks? Well, I can see a pile of rocks up here. There's probably just like a thick tangle of weeds and thorns. Cool, Rachel said calmly. I guess it's time. Yep, ladies first. No, after you, I insist. We pushed away from the trees and climbed to the top of what would turn out to be a pile of rock boulders. At the top we stopped and stared. Just 20 feet away are 2 Taxons, vile, disgusting Taxons. Allies, not just slaves of Yerks. A species that ate its own when given half a chance. I know if it was a Yerk hawk, and was anchored to side 2 humongous worms marching for a decent forest, so the human side just didn't like gigantic worms, period, or some deep instinct to harbinger mind, but I suddenly felt rage and hate. They hit me like a baseball bat overhead as something ferocious. The plan was to run from an attack, and so all of a sudden I didn't want to run. I wanted to see what my blades could do. I wanted to hurt them. Let's take them, I said. Rachel turned her sneer to me. That's not the plan, Tobias. They shouldn't be there. Look at them, just living for the far side only. They shouldn't be here. Sit in their place. It's ours. It's mine. Tobias, calm down. It makes me mad, too. I had to stick with the plan. No, we don't. I said, I'm tired of plans. She grabbed my shoulder and I spun around and slashed her. That's how mad I was. My arm actually came up. But Rachel didn't back away. Look, Tobias, you're mad, but it's not the time or place. The person you're mad is beyond your reach. You can't back at the elements for betraying you. Somehow her words penetrated a black rage and swallowed me up. No. I couldn't get back to the elements, and it was him I was mad at, wasn't it? She was right. She had to be right. Stick to the plan, Tobias. Don't get us killed because you're mad at the Elmist. Yeah, you're right. The plan. Rachel released my shoulder. I stared down at Taxons. They were frozen on staring us. I knew they had no match to repair this desperate harbinger, but then for the woods, shadowy figures appeared. Harbinger warriors, controllers. The Taxons shrilled in their own hissing language. When the trees, a dozen harbinger suddenly broke out at full run. Out of here, Rachel yelled. Right behind you. We bolted. We no longer had to worry about being too obvious. They were after us, so we had to use maximum speed. The plan seems to be working so far, Jake called down. Yeah, they're on us, Rachel said. We ran for the bush like only harbinger can run. Our arms slashed the air again and again, so like a quick as striking snakes. We destroyed bushes and saplings like our controlled nuclear-powered lawnmowers. Slash. But it was only a problem what we were doing, so we were slow down a little, having to cut our way through, and harbinger eyes could just follow our trail. They're gaining on you, Jake said. Yeah, we know. It's how far the ravine? Too far, you won't make it this way. We'll find a way, I said. I see it pursuing harbinger. Horn blades are bobbing above the undergrowth. They weren't far behind us. Not far as I'm pretty soon be smelling their bad breath. I can't tell what anything is up here. It's like you're reading a map or something. What should I be looking for? We need to go in an angle, look for a gully or ditch that runs on our path. The deeper the better. Nothing. Wait, maybe that's a gully. There's a little stream running down it. Left or right? Okay, left. No, I was thinking my left. Go right. Okay, 10 more steps. They're on us. In seconds, they have a clear view. There. Yeah, we had a tiny shallow stream that was hidden by overhanging vines and drooping branches. This way, Rachel. I crouched as low as my massive stiff body would go, and I bent down along the stream. Rachel was 1 inches behind me. Ow, she yelped. What? Your tail caught me in the neck. Never mind. Run. When I hear a noise, the pursuing harbingers go louder, suddenly more distant. Alright, Jake said. You lost it. I cut left back over the ravine. Up and out of the gully we leaped, back on dry ground across a nice open country and behind me very tall trees. This isn't good. What? Tell me. The fire's sweeping right down the lip of the ravine from the north. The earths are closing a gap from the south. What do we do? Look, there's no way around us, Tobias. There's a line harbinger now between you two and the ravine. You have to go through them. Hope you haven't lost that anger, Rachel said to me. Looks like we fight after all. On our left was fire, and on the right the front ranks of the Taxons. Straight ahead a ravine 100 feet deep, like having been cut out with a knife. Like someone had slashed the earth and made a cut so deep we could throw a skyscraper down it. The ravine was narrow, no more than 40 feet across. At the bottom I knew it was a rushing stream. In spring it would swallow melting ice to the mountains. But now it was narrow, leaving wide sandbanks on either side. Only 15-20 seconds away from the ravine, called out there are more bad guys getting away. I'm sure I count 6. 2 Taxons and 4 warriors. Oh man, I muttered. 15 seconds, Jake said, and I was kind of ahead as I ran. 1, 2, 3, 4. A Harbinger warrior leaped at me, a blur of dark green, black leather skin, flashing blades, and more of them there everywhere. Rachel, behind you! Slash, a wrist blade blew a line of blood across my chest. Slash, I fought back, attacking my attacker with all my speed and strength. The pain came out of nowhere. Harbinger jumped from deep grass and hit me from behind. I feel the entire left side starting to go numb. My wrist blades and blades were into Harbinger flesh. I went a little nuts, I think, because I didn't even know what I was doing at that point. I was on automatic, a slashing, ripping, tearing machine. But I was getting hurt at the same time. I was outnumbered. There were 3 Harbinger on me, 2 on Rachel. There had been 3 on her too, but she'd taken 1 out. My entire world was on a blow and counter blow. A wrist blade cut toward my head and I blocked it. I swiped over my knee and jerked my talons about to catch a thigh of a Harbinger behind me. Every move happened in a split second, and the time it took a human to blink his eyes, I blocked 2 thrusts and threw 3. And then wham! I was on my back in the dirt. My left leg had stopped working. 2 Harbinger now stood over me. One raised his ripping talon ready to bring it down. I lay helpless, staring at the blue sky. Suddenly I saw a flash of pale green come down from the rock. Like an arrow or fire from a cloud it came, wings took back and dropped me no more than 100 miles an hour. A Peregrine Falcon, the fastest thing in the air. Jake! At the last second the wings opened, he took the shock of the air and he swept his talons forward all in one fluid movement. Even in pain, lying there sick of death, though I'd never seen something so perfect in my life. In a split second he was gone, a large Harbinger was screaming and holding his eyes. I was ready. I swept my leg back left to right and knocked the Harbinger off his feet. I was up and hobbling on one of my good leg where he hit the ground. I ran to Rachel and helped her knock the last Harbinger foe to the ground. Ready to go? Been ready, she said. Although my one leg was almost useless, I still used my tail for balance and hobbled at pretty good speed. Rachel soon put out ahead of me, but that was okay. That was the plan. Jake, I said that was one sweet save there. Were you wrong for me to say I love you, man? That was fun. Oh yeah, that was a rush, Jake exulted. Also, I feel like this is kind of fun, interesting because in Tobias usually lambasts himself for being useless and always running recon, basically, and not being able to help in the fights. But here he is seeing what it is from the other angle. He's the one in the battle, and Jake's the one doing recon and swooping in and stuff. I think he appreciates it a little more now he can see how it goes. Anyway. Rachel and I ran toward the lip of the ravine. Now I could actually feel the heat of the fire. The wind shifted and I got on thick black smoke. I lost sight of Rachel. Was more clear as fast-faced when a Taxon. You're lucky I'm in a hurry to be your worm hash, I said, and brushed past the worm centipede. Rachel, 10 feet to your left, Jake shouted. Yeah, right in there between 2 saplings. I looked forward just to see Rachel leap out into thin air. On the emptiness she went, and then disappeared. She fell from sight. My heart stopped beating, both of them, my throats clutched tight. It was 100 feet to the bottom of that ravine, not a Harbinger would survive that fall. Now it's my turn, running for a lip. Oh man, Jake cried. On your left in front of you, I didn't even see all the smoke. Tobias, it's him! A thick wall of smoke swirled around me, then blew away like some horrible magic trick. 1 minute there was a ravine, and the center stood 3 Harbinger and 1 Andalite, who wasn't an Andalite at all. Princess 3 stood at the very lip of the ravine, right in my path. Harbinger are fast, but the tail of an Andalite is faster. I couldn't win against our Visor Free and 3 Harbinger, there was no way, but then it occurred to me. I grinned, at least as much as one can. I looked him right in his main eyes. Ket Hapak free, I yelled using a Harbinger voice. I charged straight at him, running flat out in order to steer and pain my injured leg. He watched calmly for a couple seconds. It occurred to him too, just like it had to me. See, he might give me his tail, might even kill me before I get to the ravine. My momentum would certainly carry me forward, and would knock him off the edge too. So at the last second, he dodged nimbly out of the way. Ket Hapak and Jirahami free, I yelled defiantly as I jumped off the edge of the ravine. I fell. The floor of the ravine was a long way down. I saw a brutish, massive arm shoot out. A fist the size of Virginia baked ham and grabbed my leg. I stopped falling. I slammed a ravine wall, and a massive arm yanked me back upward, right up into a shallow cave in a ravine wall. No earthly animal possibly would call a falling 7-foot-tall Harbinger in midair. Not except a gorilla. Nice catch, said the Harbinger. He owned a cave and bodily showed me back to where Rachel was waiting quietly. And so, the plan worked. The plan worked. We held there waiting in silence. We were just a few feet down from the lip of the ravine, because the overhang I see down to see the floor of the ravine. Down near sand lay the crumpled forms 2 very dead-looking Harbinger, a pair of hungry wolves tearing at their dead flesh. Jirahami and Kanopik lay still as Cassie and Jake, who had flown down the ravine and morphed from falcon to human the wolf, pretended to be busily devouring them. Fortunately, they can stand a lot of pain and heal quickly, because I'll tell you what, if I didn't know the truth, even I thought they were dead. No one breath, would they be fooled? Would Visifree believe that we had fallen to our deaths? Heard cruel laughter in my head. Fools, Visifree sneered. No one escapes the Yerk Empire. So you're not a pair of idiot Harbinger. Look at them down there, all of you. That's the way anyone tries to escape the Yerks. He let a terrible laugh. The wolves have given the both the burial they deserve. Chapter 25. Wait till Visifree and the rest of the Yerks, human, Harbinger, and Taxons all left. When we crawl back out of the lip of the ravine, we morph back and once we're all together again, we head off to across the land the Yerks have burned. We knew we had to be quick. The Forest Service fireflies be showing up any time now, even though the fire mostly burns itself out. We found the valley, a lovely little valley the Elmist had shown me. I knew what to look for, otherwise I'd never noticed. I was a good puppet for the Elmist. I'd done my job well. Not that I regret that. I can never be sorry for helping anyone escape Yerk slavery. But I was once more a red-tailed hawk, and so I'd remain. The entrance of the valley was so near the Harbinger could barely fit between the rock walls. It was like some amazing band had up from an old western movie. Jake said, "You know, I wonder if this valley even existed before. You think the Elmist created?" I asked. He shrugged. "Could be. It's pretty convenient. I let it drop. I didn't really want to discuss the Elmist. He lied to me. He hadn't given back my humanity. This is a good moment for a Harbinger. I wasn't going to spoil being selfish." Blair squeezed through a narrow gap I caught a beautiful warm draft and went up and over. Even from here you might not notice the valley unless you're really looking for it. From high up it's just like a particularly dense ribbon of trees. Not until I dropped down through the branches I see a shallow lake surrounded by sandy shores. The trees very type and description were there. Berry bushes ringed a small sunny meadow, the meadow I'd seen in my mind. To tell you the truth, the little meadow might have been heaven for a red-tailed hawk. A sweet teardrop of a bird of prey. I flew over to meet the ears as I came into the valley. They were sitting around gaping. "It's beautiful," Cassie breathed. "Are we there?" Jirahami asked me. "Yes, this is the place." "Good place," Gethavak said. "Good place for Kawatnov." "What?" Jake asked, puzzled. "I heard him use that before. Jirahami, what does Kawatnov mean?" They laughed their strange Harbinger laugh. "Kawatnov, small Harbinger. Small, Jirahami. Small, Gethavak. Children," Rachel translated. "They're gonna have a little baby Harbinger." "There'll be a first Harbinger born to freedom in a long time," Max said. "The Elmist did not lie. The valley exists." "No, he didn't lie," I said. "Not about this, anyway." "Well, let's just take our clothes off," Mark said briskly. "You know the rules in the Garden of Eden, you don't wear clothes. Rachel, you can start." "Garden of Eden," Jirahami echoed. "This place? Not unless you want to change your name to that." Thank you for following your local penguin. I'm very grateful for that. Welcome. Jeez. "I'm just joking," Marco said. "But look, I have to know, how do you tell a male Harbinger from a female one?" He looked puzzled. "Male? Female? What meaning?" "Go ahead, Marco. Explain," Cassie teased. But Yabak understood. Jirahami and Ket have different. Jirahami have 3 here. She pointed at her horn blades. Ket have 2. "That's the only difference," Marco said. "Other difference, too," she said primly, "but only for Harbinger to know." They got laughing from Max, who just puzzled Harbinger even more. Everyone stayed for a little while, then they all left, all except the Harbinger and me. I stayed to help them survey their new home, found caves I could spend cold nights, explained that they would never leave the valley, not until the Earth was rid of Yerks, and then I flew home to my own meadow, my own territory. The Harbinger had their own Edens, the Yerks had their own homes. I have my meadow. Chapter 26. The next day was Sunday, not that mattered to me. Rich came to my meadow to see me, but I avoided her. I flew away and left her yelling, "Tobias, where are you?" into the woods. I'm sorry, but I knew when she was there. She couldn't tell me it'll all be okay. She came to make sure I didn't feel bad, knowing Rachel would come to help me curse and blame the Elmist. But I didn't want pity. Not even her pity. I was dealing with things I was barely dealing. I felt like if someone was nice to me, I'd actually fall apart. I was a predator, a raptor, a hawk. I didn't want anyone feeling sorry for me. For a day I went about my routine. I went back to mapping out the entrance of the Yerk pool. I watched my own controllers come and go. And I was fine, until the sun set and night fell. One of my favorite perched old oak tree, and I watched the fox, raccoons, and owls, our night creatures, do their work. Axe came looking for me. I didn't want to talk to him either, but he knew I was there. "Hey, Axeman." "Hello, Tobias. How are you?" "Same as ever, and I don't really want to talk about it," I said bluntly. I guess he took the hints. He saved for a few more seconds my excuse to take off. I knew I was just feeling sorry for myself, but too bad. I had a reason to feel sorry for myself. "So, this is gonna be it," I told myself bitterly. "This is your life. No home, no bed, no school, nothing human." I formed a picture in my mind of human life. I saw warm golden light in a TV and couches and beds and tables. Food that came in boxes and cans, books and magazines, games and stuff. I saw appearance, at least what I remembered of them from photographs. I've been too young when I left to really remember, but I used to have pictures. There was a life I'd never have again. Human life. But you know, even as I was wilding in self-pity, I knew I was being dishonest. Maybe that warm, fuzzy golden life was how some people lived. But it wasn't how I lived. Not really. Okay, I thought. Okay, so maybe my life's a human suck too. That doesn't mean I want to spend the rest of my life as a bird. And I saw another memory more recent. I saw myself the way I appeared from the elements that take me to turquoise mist. I saw myself as half human and half bird. No, I saw myself straight off the image. Just an element's trick. I tried to stop thinking. I needed to sleep, that's all. I needed a good night's rest. I'd be fine in the morning. Otherwise, I tried to turn off the busy human brain and live alongside a Hawk's simpler intelligence. When he went out a lot during the fight, did he do it because he was expecting not to come back after that? Oh, well, in this case, no, I don't think that's the case. I think there are moments like that, but not in this particular instance. He was fine to make it to that ravine and everything. That was the plan and all. Let's see. Well, I closed my eyes, and when I opened again, I was not at my tree. I was not in my tree. I was in a room. In a house. It was night, but I could see blue numbers glowing from an alarm clock. I see someone lying on a narrow, disheveled bed. They were sleeping, tossed with a dirty blonde head lying on a pillow. A cold chill swept through me. I knew this room. This bed. I knew the person lying here tossing and turning with sad dreams. I fluttered a nightstand and noticed my wings woke him up. He blinked asleep in his eyes and stared at me. A bird, he said? It's just a dream, I told him. My heart was being so fast, it's slow. At the same time, I felt a weird calm. Like I knew it was going to happen. Like it all happened already. Then I saw a calendar, a Star Trek calendar. Guess it's kind of funny. The date was the day before I walked through a construction site with Jake and Marco and Cassie and Rachel. A dream? He peered at me and saw a troubled expression in his eyes. I know you, don't I? Kind of. And I know you too. Tobias. How do you know my name? I can't tell you that, but listen, Tobias, What could I say? What could I possibly say to my old self? I couldn't tell him everything would be alright. I didn't know that. I couldn't tell him what was about to happen to him. No sane person would believe that. Besides, I've forgotten this dream. Hadn't I? Tobias, walk home on Jake. Walk through the construction site. What? I laughed a little sadly. Why did I tell him that? Why did I send him to the construction site? That was where everything began. That was where I started a path that led me being trapped as a hawk. I knew the truth now. I could see clearly I was looking at myself back when I was human. And looking at myself, I couldn't escape the truth. That wasn't me anymore. I wasn't Tobias the human. I've become something else, something new. What the Elmas said? You're a beginning, a point at which an entire timeline may turn. Tobias said the human, you should go back to sleep. I am asleep, alright? It has to be a dream. If it wasn't a dream, I'll never get back to sleep. I can help you sleep. Hold out your arm. Don't be afraid. The human Tobias held out his arm. I flapped my wings and landed on. I was as gentle as I could be. I didn't need to do them in. Simple contact was enough. His eyes began to flutter, became dazed, and passed away. All animals do when they're acquired. I closed my eyes and focused on a human DNA that was being absorbed in my hawk body. When my eyes again was back in my tree. Had that been real? Was it all just a silly dream? Don't forget, a huge voice said. 2 hours, Tobias. I didn't need to ask what the illness meant. I knew I'd acquire my own human DNA, but it was just a morph. I stay in my own human body and be trapped forever. Never again to morph or be a hawk. Never again to fly. Have I kept my promise? Yes, I said. And are you happy, Tobias? Chapter 27. The next day was Monday, the day when Rachel received that Outstanding Student Award. There were 4 of the kids being honored too. They held a presentation in the school gym. Parents are there, all proud of their sons and daughters. Kids are there having a good time because they simply got them out of the last period. Yeah. I missed the other part of the ceremony. Be careful. I had to time everything just right. There's a 2-hour limit. I knew better than everyone. And that time I had to walk from the edge of the woods to school and leave plenty of time to get back. I was scared, nervous, staying in the back of the auditorium. A teacher frowned like she knew me from somewhere I couldn't quite recall. I went back in the shadows. The ceiling bothered me. It didn't like me or I couldn't see the sky. But I stood there as patient I could watch the summer for dim human eyes, listen to blah 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 for weak human ears. And only at the end her recipients came out to step out from the shadows. Rachel was last in line. She was beautiful as always. She had the usual Rachel swagger. I saw Cassie give her a wink as she walked by. Rachel wore her eyes, still mocking. Cassie laughed. When she passed by her marker, seeing Marker gave her a phony bow, like he was bound for some idol. She laughed and shook her head. And she was right there in front of me. I saw her eyes super me, indifferent, and looked past me toward the door. She stopped walking. She turned toward me. Her eyes went wide. Hi, Rachel, I said, with a human voice.